And welcome back to FS1 College Football, presented by Verizon. Lubbock, Texas, and we're ready for the Red Raiders, who are coming off a 44-38 loss last week to Kansas State in the Little Apple. So they are looking forward to a better performance on their home field today. Time now to join the third member of our team on the sideline, Shannon Spake.
Hey there, Gus. So you might be surprised to hear a player on this 4-0 West Virginia team say he's disappointed with the season. Well, that's exactly what senior center Tyler Orlowski told me this week. Obviously not disappointed with the record. He's disappointed with the way his offense has performed. He said, we've moved the ball, we've been able to compile some yardage, he said, but we have not finished drives. He told me, we're a team that works better in space, and when that space is confined within the red zone, we got a problem, and that problem cannot continue today. Orlowski said, if we go out and we score just 17 points like we did 2 weeks ago, we're not winning this game.
All right, Shannon, thank you very much. That brings us to our Ford keys to the game. Joel, what do you got?
For both teams, Gus, they've got to go out with a defensive mentality to force kicks, whether those are punts or field goal attempts. That's going to be a quality defensive series. And then for West Virginia, you heard Coach talk about it in the pregame show. They've got to establish the run, try to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field on the sideline. And for Texas Tech, they've been one of the best teams in the country in converting on third downs, keeping their offense on the field and extending drives. If they continue to do that today, they're going to have a great chance to win.
All right, perfect weather in West Texas for kickoff as Texas Tech prepares to play West Virginia. 70 degrees. The weatherman said it could be in the 90s today, but you know he's always wrong, Joel.
Hey, this is, what is it, kind of central West Texas? You never know. A little breeze in the air. This is perfect football weather.
West Virginia won the toss. They will receive the football. Gary Jennings and Shelton Gibson. Gibson is special, ready to return. And Michael Bradley will kick it away. Last year, West Virginia won a 31-26 decision in Morgantown. In that game, Texas Tech was held to season lows in both points and total offense. Texas Tech, WVU, and we're underway from Lubbock. This one will sail out of the end zone, and the Mountaineers will start at the 25. So Dana Holgerson, we know him as an offensive guru from his days coaching with Kevin Sumlin at Houston, Art Briles here at Texas Tech. But his defense doing a nice job, but he hangs his hat on his offense, and his quarterback is Skyler Howard, a senior from Fort Worth.
Tough, gritty, often overlooked player. Had to go to the junior college route. Love his style of play. He will put the ball up for grabs at times, but Skyler Howard, a big reason why this football team is such a tough, hard-nosed team. Howard
has won 9 of his last 10 games as a starter. On first down, he'll throw it looking, and he'll check down to Shell. And Russell Shell gets out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
Shell was a transfer from Pitt way back when in the 2012 season. He's their leader, a captain type on the offense.
Gain of 2, second down and 8. They look far side, and this ball caught Shelton Gibson. And Shelton Gibson, another in a long line of terrific receivers. 3 straight 100-yard receiving games this year, and 7 in his career.
He's the deep threat. Mega speed for Shelton Gibson, number 1 on the outside.
But Texas Tech with a chance to get off the field. West Virginia faced with a 3rd and 5 on their opening series at the 30-yard line. Empty backfield. Skyler Howard over the middle. Caught and a first down. Karan White, Joel, his brother, was pretty good.
Kevin White's playing with the Bears, and here's what I love is that the quarterback is going to stand in against a free rusher. I told you he was tough. He's going to get hit in the face, and he's still able to get it to Karan White. That bloodline so good for Karan White, the White brothers. His brother Kaiser is on the defense. We'll see him later today for West Virginia. And of course, Kevin was an all-everything wide receiver for West Virginia. All 3 of them went to Lackawanna Junior College en route to Morgantown.
So far, Skyler Howard 3 for 3, first down at the 39. And they'll hand it off, running over the right side, and it's Shell. And Shell has been a workhorse. He's a redshirt senior for West Virginia, but they've got a kid in Justin Crawford that they're really high on.
Justin Crawford is going to be in the game fairly soon. Shell is the leader You got to get him carries in order to keep that mentality and that leadership role alive on this offense. But Crawford is their game breaker.
2nd down and 7. Play fake. Howard with time. Looks far side. Has a receiver. But incomplete. That ball intended for Da'Keil Shorts. And when they talk about Skyler Howard, his coach has some very interesting things to say. He says, Howard, they counted him out. People still tell him he's no good, but he's motivated. They said he was too short, too slow, too small, too everything, but he's still playing great football.
He already stood in there and had a 3rd down conversion on this series. Let's see if he can do it again.
3rd down and 7. At the 42. Empty backfield. Here's Howard. Delivers. And incomplete. No flag on the play. Intended for Shelton Gibson, but DJ Polite-Bray with great defense. And West Virginia will have to punt it away.
Yeah, I thought that this could have been some contact. DJ Polite-Bray, I thought, arrived just a beat early. No flag. The official on the far side actually reached for it, thought the better of it, and did not throw the flag. And Texas Tech has done what they have not been able to do a lot of this year, force a punt. Their defense with a great first series.
So Billy Kenny will punt it away from the 27. Cameron Batson stands at his own 15. High spiraling punt. Batson camping under it. He'll get a shot. Makes the first man miss. Gets up the sideline. And finally wrestled down at the 32. A very nice return. And Texas Tech with a 14-yard return on a 45-yard punt. So that brings on Patrick Mahomes. And this kid, when you watch him on film, Joel, is special.
I've never seen anything like it. You know, normally, at least sometimes, you see a quarterback stand in there and with great fundamentals, throw the ball, drive the ball down the field. This guy never throws on platform or in balance, and yet he still leads the nation in passing yards at just over 450 a game. He's got the best arm I've seen in college football in the last 5 years.
Matthew Stafford reminds me Mahomes reminds me of Matthew Stafford when I watch him play. He'll throw on 1st down over the middle and incomplete. Intended for Lauderdale.
One thing that he is dealing with is a grade 2 AC joint separation in his throwing shoulder. That's an injury, Gus, that because of the medicine you've got to take in order to deal with the pain during the course of the game, a lot of times the throw will be high because you have to push it with your body rather than releasing it on the top end with your hand.
2nd down and 10 at the 32. They say they have to give him a shot in that shoulder before the game, and it usually wears off sometime in the 4th quarter. Here's Mahomes. He'll drop it into the flats. And this is Felton. And Felton gets up to the 35-yard line. And he's stopped by Al-Rashid Benton.
You know, throwing a football is very similar to shooting a free throw. It's not like throwing a baseball. And so that flick at the top with your hand, that's what creates the RPMs and the accuracy, just like shooting a basketball. That's what's difficult with the AC joint separation. You become a body thrower and you start to push it out there like a shot put more. We'll see how he deals with that earlier in the game.
3rd down and 7 at the 35. Mahomes to the near side, and that one high again.
That's a direct result of that injury. There's no question about it. This guy's got too much talent. He's too accurate with the ball to miss an easy throw early in the game. So we'll see if he can settle down a little bit. As Cliff Kingsbury told us, that's one of the worries for this offense is how the right shoulder of Patrick Mahomes is going to react to this injury.
Brings on Michael Barton. He's only punted 12 times this season, fewest in the Big 12. Gary Jennings, the deep man for WVU. He gets it away. Not a very good kick, end over end. But it takes the Texas Tech bounce and goes down inside the 10. Looks like Jennings may have stepped out of bounds at the 8-yard line. A 56-yard punt. Skyler Howard and the Mountaineers back on offense right after this.
You know, it's such great fan bases and passion. Everybody driving in for the game. What an environment.
1st down and 10 at the 9-yard line. And they'll hand it off. Justin Crawford finally getting into the game on the 2nd series. And a positive run as he gets it to the 16-yard line.
I love this kid. I mean, he was the National JUCO Player of the Year a year ago. And you can see the electricity on the first carry.
A gain of 7, near side. Karan White with the catch, and he's close to the first down. Looks like he should have it.
One of the things West Virginia is going to have to do today is run the football effectively. You know, this Texas Tech defense, they've been much maligned, and rightly so. They just are not very effective, in particular against the run. And Crawford could potentially expose that here early.
So first down to the 19. Second series for WVU. They throw it to the far side, and it's caught by Gibson. And Shelton Gibson tackled immediately. Nice open field tackle by Polite Bray.
And Texas Tech is playing with just one single safety, Gus, because they're concerned about Crawford as well. They're stacking the run box. That's why you're seeing West Virginia throw it out to the outside.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Crawford. And Devontae Hinton with the tackle.
Well, here's another opportunity. Texas Tech has had 3 of them so far on third down to try to force a kick. They're going to send Crawford all the way to the bottom of your screen. Here's the Electric Junior College transfer.
Third down and 4. Empty backfield for Skyler Howard. Howard looking over the middle and caught. Great reception. Shorts at the 40, 30, breaks to the sideline and finally knocked out of bounds inside the Texas Tech 20. A 55-yard gain.
It's all set up by the pass protection of the offensive line. Skyler Howard had all day to throw, and that's what allows the wide receiver, Takeel Shorts, to get all the way over into that left side of the secondary as the offense is looking at it. Then one missed tackle that we've seen week in and week out in the Big 12. These wide receivers will make you pay.
In his last game against Kansas State 2 weeks ago, 24-41, close to 300 yards. Howard to throw on first down, again over the middle, and it's caught once again. Devontae Mathis down at the Texas Tech 2.
220 pounds Devontae Mathis goes. Did he get it? Boy, that looked like it was potentially moving.
West Virginia wants to snap it, but the replay officials catch it.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch. That plays under further review.
You know, I misspoke a little bit. You know, the ball can move. It's just a matter of if it was in control by Mathis as it touches the ground. Remember, ball can touch the ground as long as you're controlling it. But that was clearly coming loose. I didn't see the hand. The hands were moving on top of the ball. I certainly think that this is going to go the other direction, Gus. And I felt like that on the first replay, which was this angle. Yeah. And that's clearly on the ground without control. Pretty easy replay right now for these officials. Mathis spent 2010 between quarterback and running back, wide receiver when he was in high school from Miami. He's a senior. Provides that good big body in the middle of the field, which is exactly what they try to exploit on that last play. 6'1", 220 pounds. But just couldn't quite haul it in. That ball just a little too far in front of him as he left his feet and tried to haul it in. But certainly I believe that this will be an incompletion as Mike DeFee, our referee, will get the call from upstairs.
And you can tell Mike DeFee's been spending a lot of time in the weight room. Look at those sleeves. They're kind of up high. He wants to make sure that everybody sees the guns here in Lubbock. And you know what the saying here, guns up. So the guns are up.
Further review, the pass is incomplete. It'll be second down and 10 at the 22-yard line on the left hash. Please set the game clock to 10:25. 10:25.
What are your thoughts on Coach Kingsbury and how he's orchestrated this team in his 3 years?
You know, it's been a work in progress for Cliff, you know, and he's been so offensive oriented throughout his career, both as a player, even in the NFL, and then now as a coach in the college ranks when Dana Holgorsen brought him to the University of Houston to be an assistant. He's learning how to be that complete head coach, and I think he's done a nice job. This defense is getting better.
Only 37 years old. Second down, and they'll run it with Crawford. Crawford still on his feet, and he'll go down inside the Texas Tech 10-yard line as Colin Hill finally brings him down.
I mean, what a run. He shows you vision, patience, and then also an elusiveness at the end of the run.
Crawford lines up. They give it to him again. Tries to break it back. And this time he's gobbled up Nicely done by the defense as Gary Moore gets to him first.
Gary Moore, 6'5", 240 pounds, undersized as a defensive lineman, number 5. But as the junior from Clarksville, Texas, was unblocked, he was in perfect position to stop that run play and was able to do it. He just barely held on to Crawford, but he was able to grasp on and get him to the ground.
Second down and goal at the 10-yard line. And they're handed to Crawford with running room. Crawford at the 5. Crawford banging into defenders. And he gets into the end zone for a touchdown. Justin Crawford. One official on the goal line near side signaling touchdown.
Certainly looked like a touchdown.
On the field is a touchdown.
And that is the ruling. What a great run with terrific vision from Crawford as he's getting, and this is what's going to help, is he's on top of the defender as that ball just creeps over the goal line. Excellent call by the officials. What a run from Crawford. Boy, we've seen him already come in here like a bolt of lightning and give them some energy in that run game.
Justin Crawford, last game against Kansas State, 18 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown. And I think it's interesting when you talk to coaches in this kind of system, both Texas Tech and
on the field is a touchdown. That plays under further review.
And West Virginia. In order to play fast, they want to run it.
They've got to run it, you know, because it's what keeps the defense honest and allows that openness on the outside. They're going to look at this. There's no reason to look at this. He was on top of the defender clearly and was across the goal line. Back to that point of running the football. When you go fast as an offense, they call it tempo, right? Well, what it does is it invites basic looks of defense. When you can run the ball against that, it opens up the secondary something fierce because they've got to adjust their secondary to come help stop the run, and that's what allows a guy like Skyler Howard, who maybe doesn't have the talent of Mahomes, to excel in the passing game.
Has that been an evolution of this style? I remember
think
when
so.
Landry Jones was playing at Oklahoma, he'd throw it 50 times.
Yeah.
And the running game was lost.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
I certainly think that's been an evolution of this. Even Mike Leach the last couple of weeks. I mean, Washington State, Mike Leach of all people, has been running the ball for over 200 yards. Dana has certainly evolved in this air raid style of system. He cut his teeth under Leach as an assistant here. Spent some time under Kevin Sumlin, even at Oklahoma State for a year before going to West Virginia, and Art Briles as well.
Mike Molina comes in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. So West Virginia scoring first. They go on a 9-play, 91-yard drive. Crawford, 5 carries, 31 yards, and the touchdown on the drive. The Mountaineers on the road, undefeated, ranked in the top 25. Throwing the right hand early. Justin Crawford with the touchdown as West Virginia takes a 7-0 lead here in Lubbock as you take a look at the scoring drive.
He gave them a shot of energy in that run game right away. 9 plays, 91 yards, just under 3 minutes. Crawford with that 10-yard run. Big play, though, that 53-yard pass. Really, it was more of the run after the catch from Dakeil Shorts that set him up for that score. Great series there from West Virginia.
So the Mountaineers will kick it away. Mike Molina. And back deep, Reginald Davis for Texas Tech. And Davis lets this one go over his head and out of bounds. Let's go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles for a Carl's Jr. and Hardee's game break.
All right, Gus, it's early, but Oklahoma putting it on Kansas State. Baker Mayfield shovels to Joe Mixon. Look at the hurdle. Nice run. 8 yards, gets him 6. 14-0 Boomer Sooner. Of course, OU has Texas Tech next week. Gus, Joe, Shannon, back to you.
Right after that loss to Ohio State Texas Tech rallying to win on the road at TCU, then in the Red River Showdown last week against Texas.
Big part was D.D. Westbrook. Oklahoma rallied after that loss to Ohio State, no question.
Excuse me, Oklahoma. And on first down, Texas Tech throwing the football. And David Long with the tackle as Felton makes the reception.
This defense been playing such great football. You saw the numbers at the beginning of the game. In the last 10 games, no defense has been better than West Virginia in the Big 12.
Second down and 12. Mahomes wants to throw, in trouble, gobbled up, and slammed to the turf at the 15. Christian Brown.
Here's the confusion that Tony Gibson provides with this style of defense. He's been terrific as the coordinator. He grew up kind of in this defense. He was at West Virginia with Rich Rodriguez. He traveled with him to Michigan before going with Todd Graham to Pitt, but he's been in this corridor his whole life, loves this system, and it's been very effective for them against the spread.
Third down and 16. Mahomes scrambles out of the pocket, looks across the field, and almost intercepted. And that's the kind of throw you never want to make as a quarterback.
Honestly, don't know what he was thinking there. I mean, that was as dangerous a pass as you're ever going to see. Great chance for the interception from Xavier Preston. It actually gets over his hand and right into the chest of the wide receiver, Jonathan Giles. And Giles can't bring it in. I mean, that ball very easily could have been caught.
So Michael Barton will punt it away from his own 5. Jennings, the deep man, at the 40. And Jennings lets it take a bounce, picks it up, and goes down after a short gain. A 42-yard punt and a 2-yard return. Dana Holgerson, Cliff Kingsbury, former roommates, very good friends, competing against each other today. Ain't coming. First down and 10.
Amen, Gus.
At the 42-yard line for West Virginia. Howard pulls it out, throws near side, caught. Karan White. And he'll pick up a first down.
We were talking with the coaches for West Virginia about the White brothers in general. Of course, you've got Kaiser on the defense. You've got Karan here. You had Kevin, who was a Mountaineer and now with the Chicago Bears. And they said, you know, there's only one problem with the White family. There's no more of them that we can recruit.
Some talented young men out of the White family. First down and 10 at the 48. Russell Shell in the backfield. That running back for West Virginia. Here's Howard to throw it. Howard far side in a gap. Boom. Complete and out of bounds. What a throw. And a nice catch by Da'Keil Shorts. He put that one on the money, and it's a gain of 20.
And he did it with anticipation. When you see this route start to develop, it's kind of a sail route from the inside. And as the corner sinks down as a quarterback, all you got to do is put it right over his head, which he was able to do.
And they'll run it this time with Howard. And Howard ridden out of bounds. Keyshawn Allen there to knock him out of play.
Keyshawn's having to start. Keyshawn Allen is for Keenan Ward. Keenan Ward was their career tackles leader at Texas Tech, active career tackles leader at Texas Tech before he broke his arm early in the season. So the sophomore from Mesquite, Texas, Keyshawn Allen's been forced into action. He's played better as of late and does well in the last play there.
Second down and 9 to the 27. Shell trying to pick his way forward, and he'll be ridden down. Gang tackling by Texas Tech, led by Jordan Brooks.
Brooks just a true freshman, and there was Keyshawn Allen again. So Allen from his safety position, the middle linebacker, true freshman, Jordan Brooks. He's going to be a great player, folks. Number 20, right in the middle of that defense. But he's just a pup. Doesn't know what he doesn't know yet. But here on third down, he's got to get his mates ready for a stop.
Played outside linebacker last year in high school, now moved to the middle. Third down and 8 at the 26. Howard fires up top and incomplete. Kennedy McCoy, the intended receiver. Justice Nelson defensively.
Great play from the senior. A lot of hand fighting going on. Probably could have drawn a flag either way, offensive or defensive, in particular with that jersey coming off the shoulder pad. Clearly, Mountaineer fans are going to be unhappy with a lack of a call, but they're letting them play on the outside. Terrific job there by Justice Nelson.
So Mike Molina has not attempted a kick longer than 33 yards. This one from 43 yards away. And he hooked it. So Texas Tech holds 7-0 West Virginia. Red Raiders with the football right after this. Patrick Mahomes ready to get back on the field. Let's check in with Shannon Spake.
Well, Gus, that Patrick Mahomes injury, the shoulder, we've talked about it all game. Athletic trainer told me yesterday the pain is very high, and because of the pregame therapy, he doesn't feel it to the fourth, but they're taking every precaution. This was after the first series, possibly based on what they saw, some of that inconsistency. They're giving him stim on the sidelines. He does not have to get it every series, but they are ready to go if he needs it.
All right, thank you, Shannon. Joel, you had that injury when you were the quarterback at Colorado.
Well, the pain never goes away. It's a pain threshold type of a game, and obviously the medication that you get pregame, that helps a lot, but it also numbs your shoulder a little bit, which makes it very difficult to throw with any touch down the field.
First down, and they'll hand it off. This is Felton. And Felton, who's not even listed on the two deep chart, has been their best running back this season, and he gets to the 35.
Well, they've struggled without DeAndre Washington, who was their back a year ago. He's with the Raiders now, getting some carries there in Oakland for that very good young Raiders team, but they've struggled running the ball so far.
A 9-yard gain on second down. They give it to Felton over the right side as he tries to stretch it out. Roughed up, goes down at the 35. David Long there, but a flag on the play.
Yeah, this is in that neighborhood of holding.
Personal foul. Clipping. Offense. Number 65. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay. Second down.
That's Balin Brown. And, you know, they've done a lot of shuffling, Joel, on the offensive line for this game.
They have. Balin Brown has played just about everywhere. Here he is, number 65, and you're going to see him as he dives after the back of the defender and actually gets him to the ground. Clear call, excellent job by the officials to catch something that's not quite obvious when you first see it with your naked eye, but absolutely the correct call.
And when we talked to Eric Morris, the offensive coordinator, he really wasn't happy with the play of his guys up front.
Well, you know, they've struggled running the ball, and if Mahomes wasn't so good off balance, you know, they would have a heck of a time even throwing it, because this offensive line, they've had several different combinations, and they have not been very stout up front.
Second down and 15 at the 21. Justin Stockton in the game at running back. Here's Mahomes. He'll tuck it. Looking to run. Mahomes finally chopped down at the 37-yard line by David Long.
One thing about Patrick Mahomes in this Red Raider offense, they do not care how long these conversion opportunities are. In fact, they're last in the Big 12 as far as yards to go on third down, and yet they lead the conference in third down conversion percentage.
Third down and 10 at the 26. Red Raiders need to go to their own 36 for a first down. Mahomes with time, shuffling, looking, nobody home. Now reverses his field, gets a block, throws down the field, wide open, caught at the 35-yard line. Ian Sadler, what a play! 39 yards.
He just kept working open and kept working open, and Mahomes found himself with some space finally after scrambling outside of the pocket and finds him deep.
Even Dana Holgerson said, I've never seen a guy who can keep it alive and play backyard ball like Patrick Mahomes. That was certainly a backyard play.
Takes its first time out of the half. 30 seconds.
And a timeout on the field. 7-0 West Virginia. Texas Tech finding 20th ranked West Virginia leading on the road, but Texas Tech finally coming up with a big play offensively.
Yeah, their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, he got loose, found a player deep, Ian Sadler, and now they're in business.
First down and 10 at the 36. Mahomes pulls it out. And throws to his receiver in the slot. This time it's Kiki QT, and he is a electric little player.
He has the potential to be one of the better wide receivers that they've had in the slot, that inside receiver position, in a long time. Explosive player, 5'11", 175 pounds.
Had a 61-yard touchdown last week against Kansas State. He can run. 2nd and 6 of the 32. Mahomes sets up. QT goes up high. No, makes that. Lauderdale goes up high, makes the grab, and gains a couple.
Here's another 3rd down opportunity. Talked about at the start of this game that the key for these defenses, in particular West Virginia, is to force kicks. And now they've got an opportunity at 3rd and short for Tony Gibson to force a field goal opportunity for Texas Tech.
3rd and 4 at the 30. Justin Stockton in motion out of the backfield, lines up in the slot. Empty backfield for Patrick Mahomes. He's a great runner as well.
Here they come.
And a timeout called by Tech.
Takes his 2nd timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
That last timeout was actually called by West Virginia. 3rd down and 4 at the 30 for Texas Tech. Stockton running straight ahead, looking for the 1st down, and he has it at the 25. Adam Schuler making the tackle for the Mountaineers.
This is when they go their fastest, is after a 1st down, and this is a precarious situation for West Virginia. They're trying to substitute amidst the speed for Texas Tech.
1st down and 10 at the West Virginia 25. Mahomes running, bottled up and taken down at the 30. A 5-yard loss. Wachukwu with the tackle.
Oh, what a great play from Noble Wachukwu. He stayed home on Patrick Mahomes, and Cliff Kingsbury was trying to dial something up for his quarterback on the outside, but now he's well behind the chains.
2nd down and 14 at the 29. Mahomes looking, fires, and incomplete. QT, the intended receiver, dangerous throw. QT double covered on that play.
And the guy over the top was number 8, Kaiser White. You know, he's playing the best football of anybody on that West Virginia defense right now. He's certainly in position to make that play on 2nd down.
3rd down and 14 at the 29.
Here they come.
Mahomes under pressure. Looking. Mahomes throws across the middle. Caught again inside the 10. Sadler. But a flag on the play. If it stands, it's a 20-yard gain.
A really late flag from all the way behind the play. The head linesman threw that from all the way on Texas Tech's bench side towards the middle of the field.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 1 was downfield blocking on the forward pass. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay 3rd down.
That's Quan Shorts, backup wide receiver.
You're going to see the Ian Sadler, number 12. He's working wide open. It's going to be towards the bottom of your screen and right to the right side of your screen. There's Shorts. That's who they get. Boy, that
curious call.
That was a curious call. Especially from where the flag came in.
3rd down and 29. Mahomes all day to throw this one. He'll just uncork it into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown Tech! Wow! Jonathan Giles! 44 yards! Well, what do you do on 3rd and 30? You
just throw it deep. Jeremy Tyler, number 2, he gets turned around. See him stop the safety for West Virginia. And all of a sudden, the ball's over his head. He knows it. Hands on his head because he knows he made just a critical mistake. And Tony Gibson has to be so frustrated. He had him right where he wanted, a 3rd and long, outside of field goal range. And one mistake, and Patrick Mahomes makes you pay.
Extra point up and good. Jonathan Giles has 614 receiving yards coming into this game, the most for a Red Raider through the first 5 games since Michael Crabtree did it in 2007.
Take on the day shift. Introducing the new Titan with America's best truck warranty. 5 years, 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper.
JK, I think that shoulder's starting to loosen up a little bit for Patrick Mahomes.
I think it is. Maybe it just took a series or 2, but they got loose a little bit there. And really, that entire series was about 2 huge plays, all made possible by the fact that Patrick Mahomes is so athletic that he can get outside the pocket and then hurt you deep down the field with that incredibly talented right arm of his. Even injured, and that ball just carries and carries and carries over the head of Jeremy Tyler and into the end zone.
Gary Jennings, Shelton Gibson back deep. And this one will not be returned. The action continues next as Kansas takes on 11th ranked Baylor, only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Baylor undefeated, ranked in the top 25 at number 11, 5-0.
Pretty clear for Baylor. They've got a path to the college football playoff, but it involves being undefeated. They have the 128th ranked non-conference schedule as far as strength in the country. That's last in the FBS. Baylor has no room for error if they want to go to the playoff.
So first down and 10 at the 25 for West Virginia. And they'll run the reverse. Javon Durant. Oh, watch out. Durant at the 40. He's got blazing speed and he goes down. Inside the Texas Tech 25. That's a 50-yard gain for the sophomore from Hollywood, Florida.
When he had the edge, it was like he was shot out of a cannon. He had to retreat just a little bit initially when he got the ball. And then it was game over. My goodness, what speed from Durant.
First down at the Tech 24. Howard, draw play. And Howard breaks free. Lowers his shoulder, still running. Skyler Howard, powerful running. And he gets to the 5-yard line. Keyshawn Allen got trucked.
I love Skyler Howard and the way he epitomizes the state of West Virginia. Gritty, hard-nosed, not always pretty, but it gets the job done.
And he hands it off this time to Crawford, and Crawford, easy touchdown. Flag on the play.
It's hard to see anything there live. So they're going to chat about this. It was possibly a hold there on the inside. We'll see Mike DeFee. He's going to come and make the announcement. They're going to be sure here.
During your run, holding offense number 65. That penalty will be enforced 10 yards from the spot of the foul. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 1. That 15-yard penalty enforced after the first penalty. That's number 1's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
Wow, I mean, you talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Dana Holgerson's going to get in the face of Shelton Gibson. 65 is Tyler Orlowski right in the middle of your screen. Grabs a bit too much jersey. Player goes down. That draws the first flag. And then here's number 1. This is Shelton Gibson as they're going to be jawing, and it's always the second man. Retaliation DJ Polite Bray threw the first little kind of a swat into the face of Shelton Gibson, and as he returned it, that's always going to draw the flag.
And it's almost like instincts, Joel. Somebody punches you, you punch him back. First down and goal to the 27. Howard firing into the end zone. Incomplete. Karan White, the intended receiver, but when Skyler Howard misses today, he's not missing by much. He's so accurate.
He is accurate down the field, more so than I've seen him on film. That one was actually very catchable for Karan White. He dove when maybe he didn't need to. He actually dove kind of past the ball and was having to reach back to his left shoulder in order to try to corral it in. Excellent ball there from Skyler Howard.
Howard has a chance to become the second most prolific quarterback in West Virginia history, behind Geno Smith. Howard, near side, White again. And White thumped as he goes out of bounds. I love the aggression. Deshaun Johnson. And they are talking some major stuff on that field, Joel.
Well, finally, you're seeing some energy from Texas Tech. After the big plays from Mahomes in their offense, getting into the end zone, this defense starting to come alive along with this crowd.
Third down and goal at the 24. Howard dances out of the pocket, trying to square his shoulders, looking, now decides to tuck it and get out of bounds wisely. But the question is, can Mike Molina pay it off with a field goal?
You know, he probably didn't realize this, but Molina missing the first field goal left. The wind is kind of coming across from right to left. This ball being on the left hash is actually going to be much more beneficial for Molina.
Remember, he replaced Josh Lambert to start the season because Lambert was serving a 3-game suspension. Lambert came back and kicked in game 4 2 weeks ago, but has now left the team. A 34-yard attempt, and it's good. So Molina redeeming himself. 10-7, West Virginia.
Try to change me in any way. Don't tell me what to do. Just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you.
The new 2017 Corolla with Toyota Safety Sense Standard. Toyota, let's go places.
So Joel, Mike Molina making a nice adjustment because of the wind down in the end zone.
I think it was because of the hash mark. You know, it's harder to kick with the wind, so when you're trying to hook that ball in from the right hash and the wind's trying to push it left, the curve of the ball is pushing it left, it's very difficult. But from the left hash, you're kind of kicking into the wind and holding it like a golfer from the left side of the tee box, hitting a nice little draw into the center of the fairway. Molina down the center for a field goal there.
As you take a look at the scoring drive. 7 plays covering 58 yards. 17 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Reginald Davis back deep as Molina sends it away. And this one goes out of bounds. Wow. Texas Tech will get good field position.
That's a mistake. You don't want to give this team any more extra yards, because they'll make you pay. Holgerson knows it. He understands the potency of this offense for Cliff Kingsbury.
Free kick out of bounds, kicking team. Texas Tech is elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line, first down.
Their percentages of a score go way up with this starting field position.
All right, let's go to Los Angeles for an update with Mike Hill.
All right, Oklahoma and Kansas.
All right, start of the second quarter. Patrick Mahomes back on the field. And, you know, players are always looking for a reason to get fired up. Patrick Mahomes has a great motivating factor.
Trying to impress Selena Gomez.
That's right. He wants to get to meet her. So the coaches put this together. They photoshopped Selena and Patrick. Hopefully Patrick does not have a girlfriend, and we're showing this on national television. However,
we didn't ask about that yet.
Over the middle, and Mahomes with the completion to Sattler. As soon as we mention Selena Gomez, he completes a ball over the middle for 16 yards.
Well, not knowing his relationship status on Facebook, I'm going to stay away from that.
First down and 10 down for Texas Tech at the 47. Near side, it's caught. Kiki QT. And QT. Flag on the play. Kaiser White has been physical today.
Yeah, a little too physical there as he was getting QT off the field of play. Reached around, got a bit of the helmet, face mask. You're going to watch as QT's going to the sideline. First, there's the turn, both hands up around the head.
Personal foul,
clear flag.
face mask, defense number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I mean, think of the extra yards they've given them on this drive. They started them at the 35 with a kick out of bounds by Molina. Now a face mask. That's 30 free yards that you're giving Texas Tech. They don't need that. They'll score anyway. You don't need to help them along.
You look at the penalties. Cliff Kingsbury. His team of the 1st and 10 at the 27. Mahomes all day to throw, and he puts that one on the spot to Giles.
Seems like he's warmed up a little bit. Early in the game, he was missing high injury.
And you had the injury. Does it warm up after a while?
It does. It starts to get a little bit more loose because part of the problem is he hasn't been throwing all week. You can't practice with that injury. And so the first time you're trying to throw with that adrenaline is in the game, and now you start getting into the flow, and he looks much better as of late.
He's 10 of 14, 114 yards and 1 touchdown. 2nd and 7 at the 24. Mahomes to throw. The fade in the corner. Incomplete. Intended for Devin Lauderdale.
This West Virginia defense, they play with a little chip on their shoulder, don't they?
Yep.
Rasul Douglas there in coverage. He's a senior from East Orange, New Jersey. He was a junior college transfer a year ago. They expected a lot out of him, but got in late. Didn't have a great season a year ago, but he's played very well this season.
3rd down and 7 at the 24. Mahomes steps up, wants to run it. He's got a lane. Mahomes sliding down wisely after picking up the 1st down to the West Virginia 12. A 10-yard pickup.
He just has that innate ability to understand when to extend the play to throw it and when to make the decision to run, get the 1st down, and then get down and not take a shot on that injured right shoulder. He's playing marvelous football right now.
He has 7 rushing touchdowns this season. 1st down and 10 at the 14. Quick strike, complete. Batson. And Batson will be lucky to gain a yard on the play.
Cliff Kingsbury right now, he's trying to get all those defenders bunched into one area by using a 2 running back system. Now they're going to spread it out into a more traditional Texas Tech look with 3 wide receivers to the right, bottom of your screen, 1 to the top.
Marcus Felton, the single setback on 2nd and 9 at the West Virginia 13. Mahomes, delayed handoff, Felton. And a flag.
They're going to get a hold here. Looked like 78 Terrence Steele, the left tackle.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
They don't have a 70. There's an 8 in there somewhere, folks. Trust me on that. Terrence Steele playing left tackle out here. You're going to see him on the delayed handoff. He gets a bunch of jersey of the defensive lineman, just doesn't let go. Pretty easy call for the officials.
2nd down and 19 at the 23. Mahomes locks one up. Holding should be called, and it will be. Pass interference against Jeremy Tyler. Smart play because he was beaten.
We've seen him beat twice now. The last time he didn't hold the wide receiver, ball went right over his head for a touchdown. This time As he's down a step, he just reaches out, grabs the wide receiver. Middle of your screen, number 2,
Holding.
Jeremy Tyler.
Defense, number 2, against an eligible receiver. That's a 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Pretty easy call there from the back judge as Tyler
Giles, the intended receiver.
grabbed Giles right off the line of scrimmage, and Cliff Kingsbury wanted it right away. Offensive coaches are never happy until they actually see the flag on the field.
So a first down for Texas Tech at the West Virginia 13. Mahomes bounces out of the pocket, stops, reverses, steps up, still on the move, looking in the end zone, backs up, throws, and incomplete. Where's Brett Favre when you need him?
Man, he's got a lot of Favre in him, doesn't he? DeMarcus Felton helped him extend that play. He was open in the back end of the end zone. That's who he was trying to find. But, man, just keeping himself alive to get it out there. What an amazing effort from Mahomes.
Second down and 10. And the handoff to Felton. And he goes nowhere. DeMarcus Felton stopped by Reese Donahue.
Donahue, a true freshman. He was the state of West Virginia's best defensive player and top lineman out of high school with a great stop there.
Third down, 9 of the 12. Patrick Mahomes underneath. And that ball may have been wrestled away. Stockton, the intended receiver. And the Mountaineers say they have an interception. And they do.
What a play here from number 27, Sean Walters, senior from Hollywood, Florida, as the ball is
The ball on the
juggled.
field is an interception. First down, West Virginia.
Wow. It doesn't look like it hits the ground. Stockton was trying to pull that ball up. See, watch, it's going to go behind his leg. That's when Walters goes in, and that absolutely looks like an interception as he's wrestling it away as they hit the ground. What a play from Sean Walters. This team has been so turnover oriented. One turnover in every game this season. And it looks like they've got one here. 10-7 Mountaineers.
West Virginia defense coming up with the turnover. Mountaineers lead it 10-7 as the offense prepares to come onto the field. West Virginia, 29 interceptions since 2015.
And they had Carl Joseph, who was a first-round pick. Remember, he was a terrific player in the secondary. They lost him to injury last year. This year, their best secondary player, best defender, got hurt in fall camp. Drayvon Henry, and he hasn't been with them all season long, so they're down their best player, but still playing excellent defense in the secondary. Tony Gibson's done a heck of a job with this Mountaineer defense.
So Skyler Howard, very efficient here in the first half. He is 10 of 15 for 158 yards. First down at his own 11. And they'll hand it to Shell. Shell getting across the 15. Broderick Washington, the freshman from Longview, Texas, with the tackle.
You know, we've seen a couple of longer series for Texas Tech. This defense for West Virginia, they would be well served if West Virginia could stay on the field here, establish the run a little bit, and give them a rest.
Second down and 5 of the 16. Play fake. Howard winds up, throws down the field. Incomplete. Intended for Shelton Gibson. Good defense by Texas Tech.
Jashawn Johnson, number 7 in the back end from the safety position. I thought he did an excellent job. He was there a little early, but didn't make contact, so he didn't draw a flag, also caused the incompletion, and brings up a big third down opportunity for his defense.
Third down and 5. Howard sends 3 receivers to the far side. Here comes a blitz. They pick it up. Howard running it, looking for the first down, and he has it plus some as he gets to the 25-yard line. Good call as Chris Williams finally knocks him down.
How about the strength from your quarterback, Skyler Howard? A stiff arm right in the face. Number 6, Chris Williams, a senior from Dallas, Texas, as he marches for the first down. You know, that's something I've always thought to myself. You never see the offensive face mask call when they get the stiff arm up high. Even when they're grabbing the face mask. Remember, there's no incidental face mask anymore in college football, so unless they turn the helmet, they're not going to draw a flag.
First down, they'll run it with Shell. And Russell Shell stopped by Devontae Hinton.
Russell Shell from the state of Pennsylvania. He finished his high school career as the most prolific rusher in Pennsylvania history. 2-time Pitt Post Gazette Player of the Year, high school All-American. 4 seasons at Hopewell. That's where Tony Dorsett went to high school. Terrific kid.
Last year against Tech, 14 carries, 111 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 2nd and 7 at the 27. Play fake. Howard. Deep again. And caught at the 25-yard line. Gary Jennings, the sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio, with a gain of 46.
West Virginia is max protecting. Watch all the players in protection. You've got 2 backs. That's a full big protection. Just sending 2 guys down the field, and they're still able to get past the defense. And another accurate throw from Howard down the field.
First down at the 26 as Howard handing it off to Shell. Russell gained 4 yards on the play. Dana Holgerson, 6th year at West Virginia, 45 years old. He's 40 and 28. Spent 8 years on this campus from 2000 to 2007. 2nd and 6. Howard over the middle. Caught. And another first down. This time, Javon Durant. A gain of 14. I tell you what, Skyler Howard is pitching that rock today.
You know, when the linebackers leave and the middle of the field opens up, that's a cue as a quarterback. Boy, deliver it on the frame of your wide receiver. That's an excellent throw right there from Howard.
First down and goal at the 8-yard line for the Mountaineers. Shell looking. And they'll lean forward and pick up a few.
And we saw them get down to this point in the field. They've already had to settle for a field goal and missed it. They had some troubles with penalties the last time they were in this position. They've struggled in the red zone. Remember Shannon talking to Tyler Orlowski, as she told us before the game, this has been their most disappointing spot on the field is the red zone. As the space is condensed, they've had a hard time putting it into the end zone. They need to here against a high-powered Tech team.
2nd down goal at the 6-yard line. Howard looking far side. Steps up in the pocket, wants to run it, and goes down inside the 5. Jordan Brooks stops him after the 1-yard gain.
Good coverage down the field. You know, when that space is condensed and you can't just run by this Texas Tech secondary, they've covered very well in the red zone. And now here comes this big opportunity for West Virginia.
3rd down goal at the 5. Empty backfield for Howard. The hitch, caught. Crawford, touchdown, Mountaineers. Justin Crawford showing his versatility. His 2nd touchdown of the game. 1 rushing, 1 receiving.
I love the formation from Dana Holgerson. Put a couple of fullbacks out there in front of his wide receiver and pitch it out there. It's like a run play outside of the numbers. That's brilliant stuff.
Extra point by Mike Molina is good. So West Virginia capitalizing. First the interception. Then Justin Crawford finding a home in the end zone. Mountaineers looking good, up 17-7. College football presented by Verizon. Jones AT&T Stadium here in Lubbock, Texas. And West Virginia leads Texas Tech 17-7. Gus Johnson, Joe Klatt, Shannon Spake with you. Beautiful day here in Lubbock. And West Virginia, they were happy about the early start, Joe.
They were thrilled, to be honest with you, because this is one of those places, a lot like their home stadium, that it becomes more and more difficult to play night games here on the road. So Dana Holgerson was thrilled with an 11 a.m. local kick, and his team has responded here in the first half. Playing very well, the 10-point advantage.
So the Mountaineers send it away, and this one will not be returned. 7:03 to go, second quarter. We'll take a... All right, let's go to Mike Hill for a quick game break.
Hey guys, last year Clemson and NC State combined for 97 points. Lower scoring affair so far in this one. Wolfpack stopping Deshaun Watson here on 4th and goal from the 1. Tigers could have used Wayne Gallman right there, but he's out with an apparent concussion. Low scoring, as I said, 3-0 Clemson in the second.
NC State with a big win in the Hurricane Bowl last week against Notre Dame.
Yeah, and playing well this week on the road.
Mahomes dancing, looking, on the run, caught at the 47-yard line by Giles again.
This offense is literally almost no structure to it. It is schoolyard ball with Mahomes. All of their successful plays are him buying time outside of the pocket, and then the wide receivers finding space down the field.
28-yard gain. Mahomes again. Now he looks like he wants to run it, throws that one high. Giles was open. So as an offensive lineman, when you have a quarterback that's dancing around like that, what's on your mind?
Sometimes it makes it hard on the offensive line, and the quarterback is dancing just because he wants to. But in this case, Mahomes gets flushed because that offensive line allows too much pressure, and that's what causes that jailbreak style of system.
2nd down and 10. Mahomes again to pass off his back foot and incomplete. But a flag on the play. Correction, no flag on the play. Intended for Batson.
West Virginia has been dialing up a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. That's exactly what Kansas State did a week ago in the second half when they played really solid defense, only giving up really 3 points in that second half. Texas Tech scored a kind of a garbage time touchdown, and so only the 3 points that were meaningful, and they did it by pressuring the quarterback.
3rd down and 10. Mahomes under pressure over the middle and incomplete. Cameron Batson got clobbered. This time it's Maurice Fleming with the hit.
This is just an excellent job by Maurice Fleming, because as soon as a wide receiver is exposed like that, I immediately think, boy, there's a danger of targeting on the defensive player. But he plays it perfectly right through the body of the wide receiver, and he does not draw the foul and gets his team off the field. That's just a terrific job there by Fleming.
Michael Barden will punt it away from the 40-yard line, his 3rd punt of the first half. Gary Jennings, the deep man, at the 10. This one bouncing backwards, finally downed at about the 27. So Skyler Howard and the West Virginia offense looking good so far. Back right after this. The real front runner in the Big 12 is.
I would still say Oklahoma. However, I'm impressed with this West Virginia team right now. They're a hard-nosed team. They're playing hard, and they're scoring some points here today.
1st down, and it's Justin Crawford. Talk about a hard-nosed kid. What a story, Justin Crawford. He's down right now.
Let's hope he's okay, because for West Virginia's sake, he's their spark plug on offense. He's their best player on offense, and even though he doesn't get a start.
And Holgerson will go out.
This is a program that has had to deal with terrible injuries to their best players in the last couple of years. Carl Joseph, the safety, a year ago. Trayvon Henry, and that left foot was just buried under Colin Hill. number 13, as they came down on the turf. And Gus, I was down on the field before the game. This is the hardest playing surface that I've been on in a few years. It's about 10 or 11 years old, this turf. Cliffs Kingsbury did not want it changed because it's so fast and their offense is built on speed. We've seen a couple of injuries this year. Mahomes went down with the shoulder injury because of this hard surface, and now, and granted, this can happen on any surface, but something to watch for. This is as slick and hard a surface as you'll find in the Big 12 or anywhere in the country.
Crawford with 7 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown, both rushing and receiving. We talked about how hard-nosed of a kid how hard-nosed of a kid Justin Crawford is. Let's go quickly down to Shannon Spade.
You guys already talked about what a great player he is. His skill, his ability jumped off the screen, but it's his work ethic that really impressed these coaches. When he was playing at the JUCO level, he would play his game, and then he would go to work at a fast food restaurant. He's got a wife, 2 kids, supports them. He knows what hard work is all about.
All right, Skyler Howard pulling it out and picking up the first down.
Skyler Howard, the ball carrier.
He even picked up a job when he came to West Virginia in the offseason. He was working at Taco Bell. The coaches found out about it. He didn't let anybody know he had a part-time job at Taco Bell. When Dana Holgorsen found out, he was like, hey, you can't do that in the season. You got to actually rest and get your body ready. So absolutely, as Shannon said, understands hard work, providing for his family. He's a kid with an NFL future, and he understands what that means, not only for him, but for his family as well.
First down and 10 at the 40. Howard looking to the sideline. Caught. Another first down to Keel short. I am so impressed, Joel, with the way Skyler Howard is throwing the football today.
It's twofold. One is, yeah, he's been terrific. 2 is, he has not been pressured at all. When you set him back there with nobody in his face, he's going to pick you apart down the field. His offensive line has done a real nice job.
First down. Howard again running it. Picks up a first down and more. Skyler Howard. Tackled by Jashawn Johnson. But Howard showing that he can really move the ball with his legs.
And a great block by Karan White on the outside. This is unselfish play by a wide receiver. Right here, he's going to spring him for what, an extra 8-10 yards at the end of the run.
7 carries, 60 yards. And maybe the poorest throw of the day for Howard.
Just tried to go too fast there. He knows it. Tapping on his chest. My bad. 14 of 21, 251 so far and a touch. He's had a problem with interceptions in his career, and sometimes he gets going a little too quick, and he's having a lot of success, and then he puts the ball in a precarious situation. Can't do that inside the red zone. Another opportunity here for West Virginia to create some space here between them and the Red Raiders.
2nd and 10 at the 13.
False start. Offense. Number 7. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's Tony Mateo, the left guard, and boy, he just twitched ever so slightly right before the snap of the ball as Tyler Orlowski, the center, was about to fire it back to Skyler Howard, and another penalty inside the red zone. We've seen several so far here today for West Virginia.
Second and 15. Handed off to Shell. Shell breaking tackles, and Shell inside the Texas Tech 10-yard line.
Great hole by this offensive line, and it's kind of a secondary hole right there. Good vision, he gets skinny. Terrific job by the offensive line setting up a solid run in the red zone, which is always hard to do. West Virginia getting it done here a little bit. Knocking on the door again, up 17-7.
West Virginia with a 17-7 lead here in Lubbock. Knocking on the door once again. Their offense has been very efficient, and the defense really limiting this high-powered Texas Tech attack.
Yeah, and they've been able to score touchdowns and not kick field goals so far in the red zone. Coming into the game, they were 121st in the country, red zone touchdown percentage. But they have righted that ship here today, which is so important when you're facing a high-powered offense like Texas Tech.
381 yards of total offense for West Virginia. 3rd and 5 at the 8-yard line. Shell the deep man. And Howard wants to run it, gets outside, turns a corner, touchdown, Mountaineers.
How about Wesco, the tight end? I want you to watch this block on the outside. It's a great read by Howard. He draws the safety up, but then the block on the outside was terrific because he just needed a step, got it, and then got to the pylon. That's an excellent drive from Howard, both throwing the ball, decision-making in the run game, and then being aggressive with his feet for the score.
8 rushing touchdowns on the season for Skyler Howard. And West Virginia taking a 23-7 lead. Here's the extra point. Make it 24. Terrific first half performance for WVU on the road. They're undefeated, ranked number 20. And Skyler Howard, their senior quarterback from Fort Worth, Texas, really showing out as these guys got to do some push-ups now.
Yeah, the Mountain Man, he's used to that. They've had a high-powered offense the last several years. Well, Kansas State held them in check a couple of weeks ago, but this offense looks different after that bye week. Give Dana Holgorsen a lot of credit because they came out here with a terrific plan against Texas Tech, and that plan was centered around Skyler Howard. We've seen him run the football, and then they've given him time to pick apart the secondary. This game plan has been terrific. 68 yards on the ground has been a real key for the Mountaineers here in the early going to build this 24-7 lead.
West Virginia beat Kansas State 2 weeks ago in Morgantown, 17-16. Howard threw a 7-yard touchdown pass to Javon Durant with 6:11 left. And the Mountaineers rallied from a 13-point deficit. Reginald Davis back deep, and this one out of the end zone. Tonight, the National League Championship Series begins as the Los Angeles Dodgers face the Chicago Cubs in Game 1 at 7:30 Eastern, only on FS1. The telecast is sponsored by T-Mobile One. How about the Dodgers managing to hold off the Nationals? Everybody is hoping that this may be the year for the Cubbies.
I got to give a lot of credit to Dave Roberts. I mean, Kenley Jansen comes in the 7th, and then Clayton Kershaw walks to the bullpen. You think, oh man, is he really going to come in? And he comes in and shuts it down. That was high drama. That was a heck of a game there as they finished off the Washington Nationals.
First down and 10 to the 25 for Mahomes. Mahomes buying time, now decides to run it and gets to the 30-yard line. Kaiser White drags him down. 4:05 to go. Texas Tech with 2 timeouts. 2nd down and 6. Mahomes in trouble, and he'll fling this one out of bounds. A lot of pressure being applied by the Mountaineers.
I love what they're able to do because they bring it from such odd angles. Watch this blitz as it comes all the way from over the wide receiver. That's very difficult to diagnose from a quarterback until you feel it in the pocket. And that's why you see him late having to just panic and throw the ball out of bounds.
3rd and 6. Mahomes over the middle. Caught, not enough for the first down. Or is it? Giles with the catch. And a flag on the play.
You know, I think that they're going to get Antonio Crawford for a hold totally away from the play as he was going against.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 1. That 15-yard penalty will be added at the end of the run, automatic first down.
Yeah, there was a lot of grabbing going on at the bottom of your screen. And number 1's on the outside, left of your screen right here. And as he gets beat inside, there's the hand, and it goes up right in Quan Short's face. Quan Short's true freshman from Humboldt, Texas, 6'2", 196 pounds, good speed.
First down at midfield. Felton. And he'll pick up 5. Stopped by Darian Howard.
If I'm West Virginia, I'm going to try to force Texas Tech to just run the football on every play. Force them to hand the ball off by not stacking the box.
2nd and 5. Mahomes under pressure. Over the middle. Floats one. And he has his receiver. Batson down the sideline. Finally pushed out of bounds inside West Virginia territory.
Batson's such a smart player. He was a valedictorian in high school. Tough kid, not very big, 5'9", 175, but an excellent wide receiver.
Picked up 12. Felton. He'll crawl inside the 30. Now Rashid Benton.
And this is the spot on the field after a play fake. They love to try to get behind the defense. They do it from the slot. They're going to send 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Number 9, Giles, is the one closest to Mahomes. Watch him down the field here.
2nd and 6. Mahomes looking that way. Now steps up in the pocket. Wants to run it. And he'll slide down with a first down.
That tendency was true for West Virginia as well. That's exactly where Mahomes wanted to go with the ball, but had to pull it down. The run it did not quite get enough for the first.
So they make it 3rd down and 1. And Mahomes looks frustrated. 2:05 to go, second quarter, 24-7, West Virginia.
The itsy-bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and clogged the gutter system, creating a leak in the roof. Luckily, the spider recently had Geico help him with homeowner's insurance. Water completely destroyed his Swedish foam mattress. He got full replacement and now owns the Sleep Number bed. His Sleep Number setting is 25. Call Geico and see how much you could save on homeowner's insurance.
Welcome back. 24-7. Texas Tech called their second time out, faced with a 3rd down and 1. And they'll hand it off. Felton. I don't know.
It didn't look like he got there. This 3rd and short territory, they were the best conversion team in the country a year ago, but remember they had DeAndre Washington. Something tells me they wanted to go for it on 4th down anyways, which is why they handed the ball off, and they'll keep Mahomes on the field.
So 4th down and 1 at the 24. And they will measure it.
Needed to get just past, was that the 23-yard line, and with the ball down by his waist and where he hit the ground, he was short of that. In fact, I thought they gave him maybe the benefit of a little extra spot. If anything, I thought that spot was too generous by about a half a yard, maybe a full yard, based on that replay, but he is still just short of the first down.
So 4th down coming up.
With Mahomes' shoulder being banged up, I don't know if they're going to want a quarterback sneak him here.
Tight formation. And some movement on the right side of the Tech offensive line. Wow.
Yep, absolutely. A false start out there wide.
Snap infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
The center, Tony Morales, it was so hard to see because everyone was bunched in there, but you're going to see him actually move the football. Look at that right there. He goes, and that's 100% a snap infraction. Good catch by the officials. Even better job by West Virginia not to jump there.
So on 4th and 5, Tech will go for it. Now Mahomes in the shotgun.
Looks like they're coming here. They're bringing 6. Straight man-to-man coverage. That's why he's changing the play.
Here they come. Mahomes off his back foot. And incomplete. Cameron Batson, the intended receiver. And Texas Tech turns it over on downs.
That's a low percentage throw to throw on 4th down. If you're going to face a heavy man pressure like that, you're going to want to try to replace the blitz with the football. Throw it short over the middle. Trying to throw a little fade wheel route, very low percentage. That's a poor decision from Patrick Mahomes. He had a little slant route in that combination from the left side, chose to take the fade right down the sideline, and as such, West Virginia, great chance here to pad this lead. 124 with a timeout. That's a lot of time.
They'll start from their own 28. Howard, quarterback draw. And I think that the Mountaineers will be happy heading into the locker room on the road with a 24-7 lead.
Well, no lead is safe, in particular here in Lubbock, but the last thing you want to do is get crazy and put the ball in a precarious spot. And I think that's right now on Dana's mind, but you can tell he wants them to go a little quicker.
Almost 400 yards of offense for West Virginia. And they swing it out. This is Wellman. And Wellman dives on the football. Michael Thomas in the vicinity.
They're trying to say that that was a lateral and marking him down back, that was actually a fumble. Sure looked like a 4th down. That was Justin Crawford heading to the locker room. Running back. They ruled that a backward pass. It certainly did not look like it from my angle. But now, 3rd down. This is when you get conservative from Dana Holgerson's perspective.
3rd and 9. And here's the handoff. And Wellman just running it over the right side. And Texas Tech with a timeout remaining. But that should take us to the end of the first half. And it does. West Virginia on the road with a 24-7 advantage. Howard, 14 of 22, 251 and a touchdown. He also rushed for 74 yards. Justin Crawford, 2 touchdowns. Let's go to Rob Stone in Los Angeles.
All right, Gus, thank you. We welcome you.
Welcome back to Lubbock, Texas, where the West Virginia Mountaineers lead heading into the second half, 24-7. Gus Johnson along with Joel Clatton. Joel, you have to be impressed with, first of all, the West Virginia defense, and second of all, their quarterback, Skyler Howard.
I'll start with the defense, because that's the one question I had coming in, is how would they match up against this high-powered Texas Tech offense and Patrick Mahomes. They've been excellent. They've been able to get pressure on Mahomes. They've been able to tackle well in space, and I think overall their energy has really set the tone for this game. In space, they've been terrific. They've also gotten to the quarterback, confused him quite a few times where he's had to throw the football away. They've even gotten the turnover in the red zone. And then Skyler Howard, he got really heated up early. Great ball placement down the field has led to some touchdowns. Crawford gets in the end zone on an easy little pitch and catch. And then his feet as well, Gus. Howard's feet have been a real difference maker so far in the first half. 251 pass yards, 73 on the ground. And as you look at the first half stats, 392 total yards. They've been dominating the game. They've got the turnover. They've also been holding Texas Tech's passing game in check. Only 161 yards so far.
So what's the key for Texas Tech heading into this second half? This is an offense that is accustomed to scoring a lot of points, but they haven't been able to do it, especially in the first half.
It's been so much jailbreak style of offense, meaning that it's outside of the structure. It's been Mahomes trying to improvise on the outside, and I don't think that's going to be able to cut it against West Virginia. They're going to have to get something going with the structure of their offense, whether it's in the pass game or even starting to get that run game going a little bit early in this half to try to get the safeties back deep out of the box.
Mike Molina sends it away. Texas Tech will receive the football to start the second half. Now here's an interesting stat for you. Texas Tech has scored 50-plus points in 9 straight home games, an NCAA record. Only 7 today. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Well, Gus, Joel, hold on. Watch this Texas Tech team to get off to a very fast start. Cliff Kingsbury told me we have to score on this first drive. Now, when you talk to West Virginia, there's good and there's bad. On the one side, they've held them to 7 points. Dana Holgerson said, well, that doesn't happen very often. But on the flip side, all those penalties, he said it's completely uncharacteristic of his team. He said that has to change.
All right, thank you very much, Shannon. So, Patrick Mahomes, 14 of 26 for 161 yards and a touchdown in the first half. And he'll drop it off to Justin Stockton on first down. And Stockton taken down by Justin Arndt.
Love Justin Arndt. His story is great. He was a high school quarterback, won 3 state championships in the state of West Virginia, walked on. He's now a linebacker. You talk about an effort player. He's very smart, good tackler in space, shows it on the first play.
5'11", 215 pounds, 2nd and 10 at the 25. Over the middle, and it's complete. Nicely done. Lauderdale with the catch, but a flag on the play.
They're going to get an offensive pass interference here because they were trying to block on the outside for that little wide receiver screen. Looks like they might want to call Cameron Batson. Batson's the middle wide receiver there. He makes contact, kind of a pick play, and then the ball was caught down the field, a yard down the field, so it wasn't behind the line of scrimmage.
Offense, number 13, down the field blocking. The ball was caught beyond the line of scrimmage. 15-yard penalty. Half the distance to go. Replay second down.
That ball, that play is designed to be caught behind the line of scrimmage, which allows him to block down the field without drawing the penalty. But because the throw drew him a yard across the line, that penalty comes out. That's a really excellent call by the officials. That's hard to officiate, and they did an excellent job right there.
So that'll back up the Red Raiders. And now they're faced with a 2nd and 22 at their own 12-yard line. Mahomes with time, steps up on the move, caught close to a first down. Nice throw, Jonathan Giles over the middle. And as Cliff Kingsbury told our Shannon Spake, they need to score on this drive.
Well, they've got to stay on the field in this 3rd down situation. They're going to bring an extra offensive lineman on. Number 90, Travis Bruffy, comes in as the tight end.
3rd down and short. Opening series of the second half for Texas Tech.
Wow, early timeout.
Texas Tech takes its first time out of the half.
Start of the 3rd quarter. West Virginia with a big lead over Texas Tech. Red Raiders faced with a 3rd and 1 at the 34 on their opening series of the second half.
Yeah, they've been unable to get DeMarcus Felton going in the run game. Giles has been big for them in the pass game. 5 catches, 101 yards so far.
Stockton in the backfield now for Texas Tech. So here we go, 3rd and 1.
All 11 West Virginia defenders within 5 yards of the ball here.
Mahomes to throw. Quick strike, caught, first down, and even more as they get up the sideline with Sadler and finally out of bounds. Ian Sadler has made some big grabs today. That one for 33 yards.
When you have all 11 guys near the line of scrimmage and you miss one tackle like Jared Harper did, number 22, it's going to be a big play. It's exactly what happens. Ian Sadler, nice catch and run. 3 catches, 86 yards on the day.
First down, Texas Tech at the West Virginia 33. Mahomes skipping, drops it off to Stockton. And Stockton tackled at the line of scrimmage. He may have gained a yard, but David Long comes up and makes the tackle along with Al-Rashid Benton.
This defense just doesn't give up many big plays. I know we've had a couple where they got behind the defense, but as a generality, they tackle well in space, they stay deeper than the deepest man, and they run the football very well.
2nd down and 9 at the 32. Mahomes Over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Giles again.
This is the exact strategy that Kansas State used coming into the second half last week. As Mahomes' shoulder begins to tire and that medicine starts to wear off, they started blitzing him and blitzing him and blitzing him, and that's exactly what West Virginia is doing here to open the third quarter.
3rd and 9 to the 32. Trips at the top of your screen. Reginald Davis, the receiver at the bottom.
Here they come again, Gus.
Mahomes, first down, nice throws. Giles holds it in. Patrick Mahomes off his back foot, putting that on the money.
And great anticipation. He's going to throw this well before the wide receiver is breaking into that area. Great touch on the ball for a nice, close to a conversion. Did get the conversion for a first down.
First down at the 22. Gain of 10 on the last play.
No backs in the backfield. Every time they've done this, West Virginia has sent the house. They play 0 man coverage. Now they've got a back in the backfield. They'll back out of it.
Mahomes on first down. Running it. And he'll go down. Inside the 20. What is he saying at the line of scrimmage? Patrick Mahomes. What is he barking out?
Well, he's got full autonomy of this offense. He can change any play at any time. And so when he sees a look like he just saw, where it's going to be a full blitz look from West Virginia, he was trying to check to a short passing game. Tony Gibson right now is trying to call the defensive play calls late to try to avoid getting beat by a check from Patrick Mahomes. He's checking again.
2nd and 6, play fake. Mahomes rolls out. In trouble, Mahomes has to get rid of it, and he won't. Great pursuit on the backside, and Rasul Douglas comes up with the 3rd sack of the day for the Mountaineers.
Douglas comes from all the way outside. Here he's going to come on the blitz. Mahomes never saw him. At this point, he wants to throw left, and then he just kept coming and coming and coming. The running back didn't get back there to block him, and Douglas from his corner position gets another sack.
That's a loss of 11 yards. 3rd and 17. Quick strike. Far side. QT. Not enough for the first down as he gains 10.
I think Cliff Kingsbury's doing the right thing here. Shannon said that coming into this half, they had to score. Obviously, he wants a touchdown, but putting points on the board is going to be successful after that first half when they were only able to get in the end zone one time, so Hatfield will come on to try.
From 37 yards out, Clayton Hatfield. Preseason All Big 12. He's also on the Groza watch list.
Illegal substitution. Offense, number 8. 12 men when they broke the huddle. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That's way too sloppy. Gus, special teams play like that. There's no reason to have a substitution, excuse me, error like that. Cliff Kingsbury's got to be frustrated.
So they'll back him up. Instead of a 37-yarder, this one will be from 42 yards away. His season long is a 43-yarder. Ooh, nice draw. And good. Clayton Hatfield with a 42-yard field goal. Cliff Kingsbury will take the points. 24-10. Here come the Mountaineers on O. Texas Tech made some mistakes last week against Kansas State. Similar mistakes today. They had 95 yards in penalties last week, 61 today. The only turnover of the game. They have 1 today. -3 in sacks. They've given up 3 sacks today. 0 for 3 on 4th downs in the second half. 0 for 1 today. Coach Kingsbury trying to correct some of these unforced errors against a very good West Virginia team. Michael Barton kicking it away. Gary Jennings and Shelton Gibson, the deep men. And the Mountaineers will get a chance to return it. Shelton Gibson. He'll get to the 25. Let's check in with Mike Hill for a game break.
Number 3, Clemson, NC State. Remember when Deshaun Watson was that dude? Having a good season, but not quite living up to the expectations we had of him beginning of the season. Picked by Mike Stevens here. 28-yard pick six. Pack hanging tough right now. 10-10 in the third. Gus Joel.
You know what's so interesting about Deshaun Watson? At this point in the season a year ago, he had the same number of interceptions as he does this season. I believe he came into this week with 8 total. The nation's leader had thrown 9, but when you've got that heightened expectation of being a Heisman frontrunner, clearly some disappointment there for Clemson.
Skyler Howard has only thrown 4 interceptions this year. And completion on first down to Karan White. Howard, excellent numbers in that first half. 14 of 21, 251 yards, a touchdown. He also rushed the ball well. 9 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown, averaging 8 yards a carry.
Yeah, 8 a pop, and their leading rusher. You know, I thought he made great decisions in the run game, which was more important than anything.
Second down and short. Shadow. First down, and even more, as he'll get to the 42 before being dragged down from behind by Jordan Brooks. Overgate, KU, BU. Coming up next here on FS1. First down and 10 at the 42. Play fake. Howard with time. Goes through his progressions, near side and incomplete. Threw that one on the money to Da'Keil Shorts. He just dropped it.
This offensive line has done such a great job up front. I know that's an incompletion, but he had all day to throw. Absolutely should have been caught on the outside from Da'Keil Shorts. But a lot of credit goes up front. 57, Adam Pankey. Number 70, Tony Mateo. Tyler Orlowski, 65, the center, preseason All-American. Kyle Bosch, 62, the right guard. Number 53, Colton McKivitz, a redshirt freshman in there at right tackle. They're doing a sensational job so far today.
They are certainly some big guys. 316, 294, 296, 310, 306 up front. And talking to some of the Texas Tech coaches yesterday, they said they dwarf us.
First time out of the half.
Timeout, Mountaineers. Don't forget to check out Breaking the Huddle with Joel Klatt on Facebook, live every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern, sponsored by Dr. Pepper. What do you got coming up?
We'll break down this week. A couple of top 10 matchups. Very interested to see how Alabama plays on the road against Tennessee later today. And obviously Ohio State, or should I say the Ohio State, traveling to Camp Randall. Wisconsin 6-0 in their last 6 games in top 10 matchups at home. See if they can make it 7 tonight.
So West Virginia faced with a second down and 10. Dana Holgorsen was not happy with his offense when he called that timeout. Skyler Howard to the sideline and caught another first down. Karan White. And why was he so upset?
Before the series, they were talking about going with a little bit of a slower tempo, but then his players weren't getting lined up. He's screaming at them about the play sheet, his signal. He's trying to get them lined up in the formation, and they were milling around. He had to call a timeout to avoid a delay of game. He was very upset about it.
And White once again, look at him go at the 30. White dives forward and gets inside the 25-yard line. I think he got their attention. Keshawn Allen with the tackle.
He absolutely did. Good sense of urgency here in the last couple of plays, and easy throws to Karan White for Dana Holgorsen and Skyler Howard, and then he turns them into a big play as we've got a Red Raider that's down on the 25-yard line.
And it looks like it's Keshawn Allen.
And Keshawn Allen, a sophomore, he's already a backup. Remember, told you earlier in the game, he's in for Keenan Ward, the senior, who had broke his arm earlier in the season. And there's a lot of youth around them at the safety position. The other safety, Jashawn Johnson, also a sophomore. Peyton Hendricks is a guy we might see come in. Number 24, he's a sophomore from Dallas, but let's hope Sean Allen is okay. Took kind of a shot on that right side as he went in for the tackle on Karan White. who's a big receiver. He comes in 6'1", 200 pounds, Karan White.
Karan White, 7 catches for 68 yards. Back-to-back gains of 11 and 21 yards for White. First down and 10 at the 26. Shell. And Russell Shell wrestled down at the 23-yard line. Jordan Brooks in the middle, along with Mylan Thomas.
Big fan of Jordan Brooks. That linebacker from Texas Tech, number 20. He's a true freshman, 235. He's going to be a great player.
2nd and 7. Howard, near side. Caught. Gibson. And Gibson will be tackled for a loss or either at the line of scrimmage based on the spot by Justice Nelson. And a flag down.
I think they're going to get that safety, Peyton Hendricks, 24, with a little action after the play. He came in for Kashawn Allen, I just told you, and he hit one of the wide receivers late.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 24, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
You know, there's a fine line. He gets real excited. He's coming into the game, hasn't had a lot of playing time so far this year, and he starts flying around, but he took a unnecessary shot on Da'Keil Shorts. Here's Shorts right there in the side of your screen. Watch this. And right there, clearly after the play, and Hendricks takes an unwarranted shot. You just can't do that. No matter how excited you are or how much energy you have, you've got to channel it in the proper way.
So first down and 10 at the 11-yard line for West Virginia.
False start. Offense. Number 57. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's Adam Pankey, the left tackle. He's a senior, experienced player. Holgerson still upset, and he should be. This has been sloppy. You know, this quarter so far, both sides, has been very sloppy. It's their 4th penalty inside the red zone so far today.
On 1st and 15, Shell hopping through the hole, bounces it outside. They try to drag him down, but he finally is stopped inside the 10 by Peyton Hendricks.
Most of their success at this spot in the field inside the red zone has come on the quarterback run. In particular, out of this formation.
2nd and 9. Handed off to Shell straight ahead. And he's down at the 5. Devontae Hinton, first man to him.
It's a huge spot for Texas Tech's defense. They have got to force a field goal attempt. Biggest snap of the game so far for them. Their offense was held to a field goal in their opening series of this half. They have got to get themselves off the field here.
3rd down, 5 of the 6. Play fake. That one deflected and incomplete. Great job by Jashawn Johnson.
Johnson coming up the right side of the offense. Didn't fall for the play fake at all. A big, heavy run fake. And he's able to come off that right side, and he's just going to come straight upfield, not bite on this run fake, and he's right in the face of Skyler Howard. Excellent defense from Johnson, and he forces the field goal. He's pumped up, and he should be.
So Mike Molina comes in to attempt a 22-yarder. And good. West Virginia, 27, Texas Tech 10.
I don't necessarily agree. I wouldn't have had Clemson quite that high. I've got Michigan at number 3, but this is how the AP top 10 stands. And we've got a couple of those showdowns, plus Clemson and the nail biter. Another game to watch. Gus, Nebraska at Indiana.
You like Indiana?
You know, I just think that in Bloomington, the Hoosiers could rise up and get that win later today.
Indiana fighting hard last week against Ohio State. Now let's check in with Mike Hill for a game break.
All right, Gus, number 19, Oklahoma, Kansas State. D.D. Westbrook so big last week against Texas, having another big week this week as well. Didn't start the game because of an ankle injury, but he knows how to finish. His second TD of this game, 7 TDs in his last 3 games, his 31-17 Sooners in the fourth.
It's a different team with D.D. Westbrook healthy. Just a different team. Appreciate that, Mike.
Oklahoma receiving 24 of 26 first place votes in the Big 12 media poll, followed by TCU, OK State, Baylor, Texas, Texas Tech, and West Virginia. First down and 10 at the 25 for the Red Raiders. And they'll fire it out to QT. And Kiki QT rumbling up the field. They say QT does the best Cliff Kingsbury impersonation on the team. But he won't do it for us.
No, he won't. He knows where his bread is buttered. His offensive play call.
That's right, second down and 1. Stockton looking for the first down, and he's close. Al-Rashid Benton with the tackle, and they don't give it to him. So that brings up 3rd and 1. Quarterback sneak, and Mahomes falling forward for the first down.
That was a very odd series there. Christian Brown, number 95, he took a knee. He was trying to get somebody's attention. He's got something going on. He was on a knee before the snap. He was pointing to the sideline, and they actually snapped the ball and ran right into him for a conversion. And it's exactly the pose he's in now as they're going to come out and finally attend to him. Christian Brown is a senior from Fort Myers, Florida.
Then I think the West Virginia team, their coaching staff.
You see him right there, Gus? He's waving right there, and then he actually goes down right there, and then they snap the ball. Very odd sequence.
Dana Holgerson has been very successful recruiting kids from Florida.
Yeah, and West Virginia in general. You know, even going back, Rich Rod had success in that area and getting kids up. You know, they've got very strong history with junior college players and several on this defense that are doing great things. Kazir White, Rasul Douglas. Dana's built a really solid football team in West Virginia. I don't think they're getting the credit that they deserve so far this year.
Well, first down, Mahomes being chased, and he'll just dump it out of play. Wachukwu in hot pursuit.
This happens way too often for Texas Tech. There's only 3 rushers, and the offensive line just cuts a guy free. You know, this offensive line has got to start playing better. They have been very bad so far this year, and that's continued here today. Mahomes has basically been running for his life.
Second down and 10. Mahomes near side. QT, what a play. QT on the move. QT down at the 30, a 31-yard gain, and he's got a burst. Sharif with the tackle.
Isn't he good? Isn't he explosive on the outside? Missed tackles. That's the whole key to this offense, Cliff Kingsbury told us.
This time it's Cameron Batson.
When you're operating in space like Kingsbury likes to operate in with these wide sets, a lot of wide receivers, you've got to have guys make the defender miss. QT was able to on that big play, and now they're in another 2nd and 6. This is when they love to go deep, Gus. 2nd and manageable from about the 30-yard line.
Here's Mahomes dancing in the pocket. Thought about going deep. Now elects to run it and gets out of bounds after picking up a first down. And all sorts of flags on the far side.
And just another poor judgment penalty by Texas Tech. Justin Stockton, the running back, is going to get flagged here.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, offense number 70. The runner made the first down. It'll be a 15-yard penalty, and it'll be 1st and 10.
Okay, I thought it was Stockton, but actually it's, and again, Terrence Steele's number 78. It wasn't Stockton. There's the block late from Terrence Steele, the redshirt freshman. I mean, these mistakes, you just can't have these types of mistakes. and win football games. This has got to drive Cliff Kingsbury crazy. Had nearly 100 yards and penalties a week ago, now up to 88 so far today.
First down at the 38. Mahomes. And he's sacked again. The 4th sack of the day for West Virginia. This time, it's number 27, Sean Walters.
You gotta love this. Watch this. It's gonna be a delayed blitz. Walters immediately doesn't come, but then he starts his blitz after the running back exits the set, and that's why there's nobody there to block him, and Mahomes goes down again, and Texas Tech is moving backwards.
A 9-yard loss, 2nd and 19. Mahomes firing, backs it, and he'll get it up the field, not much, as Jeremy Tyler knocks him out of bounds.
You know, you saw him want to go deep, and that's when Mahomes ran the ball. Should have had a first down. Steele gets the personal foul. But there's just nowhere to go with the ball down the field. Even though Mahomes is getting away from the rush at times and being elusive, he just can't fit the ball into those tight windows downfield with 5 defensive backs on the field for West Virginia.
3rd and 16.
Looks like they want to blitz right there.
Here they come. Mahomes just flings it down the field. And incomplete. That one looked out of play. Kiki QT couldn't get a foot in bounds.
This is such great coverage because the coverage forces the wide receiver to the sideline. I know it looks like he's beat, but he's forced him to the sideline so well, number 7, that he's able to get completely out of bounds and use the sideline as an extra defender.
That's Sharif covering the redshirt senior from Houston. 4th down now. Texas Tech will punt. Barden sending it away. Gary Jennings back deep. Low snap. Handled. Jennings lets it go over his head and then dive inside the 20-yard line. Well done by Michael Barden. But West Virginia has the football again. 27-10. Mountaineers. And I tell you what, Joel, this Mountaineer defense is putting on a clinic in how you stop the spread offense.
Got to give Tony Gibson a lot of credit, the defensive coordinator. And the Texas Tech coaches told us this guy does better than anybody else in the country, anyone that they see their entire schedule. And it's a lot to do with that scheme. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. Gus, it allows you to adjust to whatever set is on the football field, in particular when there's 4 and 5 wide receivers spread wide.
Mountaineers first down and 10 at the 18. And they run the reverse with Durant. And Durant is clobbered. Wow. Jordan Brooks, the freshman from Houston.
Great diagnosis of the play. That little flip pass. We've seen Durant. He's got some jets. Not on the last play.
2nd and 8. Howard. They'll throw it out of bounds. But with that kind of formation defensively, Joe, wouldn't you think you could run it on them?
Well, the problem with Texas Tech is their offensive line is not good enough to run the ball. And so they've got to throw it with Mahomes, and they've got to create extra possessions for their offense to do so. They've got a chance right here. 3rd and 8. Gus, this is the best chance they've had for a 3-and-out all day long.
West Virginia 5 of 10 on 3rd down conversions. Skyler Howard has had voodoo on the football. Howard bouncing around. Howard with a lane. Howard tucks it and picks up the first down. Howard gains 13 on 3rd and 8, and he's closing in on 100 yards rushing in this game.
I love the block by Adam Pankey, 57. 57's right on the left side of your screen, and as Howard gets around him right there, he's going to continue, and that's the block that frees him on the edge, as there was a defender, number 5, Gary Moore, that was in pursuit, and he just got enough of him to spring him free. Great job by the senior, Adam Pankey.
86 yards rushing for Skyler Howard. First down and 10 at the 33. Howard handing it off to McCoy. McCoy breaking free down the sideline. McCoy to the 30 and out of bounds. West Virginia, what a day. 35-yard gain for Kennedy McCoy.
The true freshman from Lexington, Lexington, North Carolina, finds a lane. The offensive line is doing a heck of a job, and then he gets a burst down the field. You should absolutely expect him to succeed in his career. This is a guy his senior year in high school. He ran for over 2,000 yards. Central Piedmont Class 4A Offensive Player of the Year in 2015.
First down and 10 to the 32. Howard on the play-action fake. Near side, put that one right in the hands of Shelton Gibson. And Polite Bray covering. Skylar Howard, look at the numbers today for this quarterback that nobody wanted. This quarterback that people thought wasn't good enough. 20 of 30, 303 and a touchdown, no picks. Howard keeps it himself. Tries to get outside and does.
It looks like he's going to pick up another first down, and he will. They said he wasn't fast enough. Had to go the junior college route. Plays with a chip on his shoulder. And he's still a guy that people say, well, can he really carry them to the Big 12 title? Is he really a guy that's going to take West Virginia to the mountaintop in this conference? By the way he's played today, I would say he absolutely has the ability, but more importantly, Gus, the will to take his team to that mountaintop.
First down and 10 to the 22. Durant in motion. They hand it off. McCoy again! Breaks it! McCoy heading to the end zone! And they say he's down at the 1-yard line.
Kennedy McCoy, the ball.
Kennedy McCoy with a 21-yard gain. First and goal at the 1 for West Virginia.
Excellent block by Grant Lingefelter, the left guard.
First down.
See if he was down, and I think that's a great call. Yep, that right knee hits at the 1. Ball's about at the half-yard line. Excellent job by the official on the spot down the field. Good call. They'll set up another first and goal for West Virginia. How about the Mountaineers? They're not underrated anymore. Up 27-10, knocking on the doorstep.
Welcome back to FS1 College Football presented by Verizon. West Virginia making a statement today on the road as you take a look at the scoring by quarters. Second quarter a big one, they scored 14 points. Leading at 27-10 now. West Virginia with 8 plays of 20 or more yards today. On this drive, a 35-yard and a 21-yard gain for Kennedy McCoy.
12 men in the formation on defense.
Wow.
Half the distance to the goal. First down.
You know, out of timeouts, after a quarter like that out of a huddle, Cliff Kingsbury cannot be happy about it. As we take a look at these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was one more in the formation as they were running off. Lined up on the outside, there was a wide receiver at the top of your screen, so a corner up there.
First down and goal with the 1, quarterback sneak for Howard. Touchdown. Tell you what, Joel Klatt, we've been to Morgantown many, many, many times. And it's rocking when they're not good. Morgantown is going to be on fire this season.
You bet. No question about it. This offensive line has owned this game. Cliff Kingsbury cannot be happy with the way his team has played. Mistakes in alignment, poor timing and timeouts to try to make up for mistakes, ill-timed penalties. And West Virginia has made them pay. They've been terrific today. My estimation as an undefeated, they should be far higher than number 20 in the country. They've been given a pretty significant lack of respect so far on the season. They're earning it today.
Extra point good. West Virginia 235 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Dana Holgorsen, the hat's to the back right now. He loves it. Let's check in with Mike Hill.
All right, guys, Clemson saddled by 4 turnovers, goal line issues, finally getting back into the end zone against NC State. Deshaun Watson, that boy good. 4 yards, gets him 6. His first rushing TD of the season, believe it or not. He had 12 last year. Tigers back up 7 in the third.
All right, Mike, we love the Coming to America reference.
So
we were actually talking about that in the meeting yesterday.
We were. Although I don't think that Deshaun Watson is good and terrible. He's just good.
He's just good. And so is this kid, Skyler Howard. Just tell him he can't play, and he'll show you.
Man, the whole team. You know, I feel like they take their cue from their quarterback.
Yep.
Blue-collar team. Dana Holgorsen sat him down before the year. Not just Howard, the whole team. And said, hey, I want to come up with a couple of words that is going to describe our team. 2 terms that they came up with. Blue-collar, fighters. We're seeing both of that today.
They send it off. Short kick picked up at the 25-yard line. And some hard hitting on special teams as Texas Tech will start from the 32. Cameron Batson returning. David Long with the tackle on special teams. Yeah, that's right, Dana Holgorsen. He said, this state is tough, and we're a lot like our state. Fighting mentality, passionate, blue collar. Those aren't my words. Those are the words the team chose to describe themselves.
I love how he talks about how his team takes on the nature of that state. You know, that state been devastated by floods in the last year, and they constantly rise up and rise above it, and this team has done the same.
Here's Mahomes going to the far side. Nice move by Justin Stockton, and he's finally knocked out of play by Jeremy Tyler. Now Texas Tech trying to speed things up.
Well, if there's any team that can put a dent in this 24-point deficit, it's Texas Tech. They can score in a hurry. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The problem is just giving him the time. This offensive line's got to provide him with some amount of time to get the ball down the field.
First down to the 49. Mahomes drops it off over the middle. And once again, it's Stockton.
One thing that you got to keep in mind as well as this game becomes longer and longer is that medication that they gave Patrick Mahomes for his right shoulder. It starts to wear off at this point.
You can't give him another shot?
No. That'd just be too much. Yeah, it'd be too much.
2nd and 7. Mahomes sidearm that time, and it's caught as Ian Sadler close to the first down. Sadler's had a terrific day.
The problem is, unless it's fully worn off, you're providing a situation where the player can't feel the shoulder at all. You know, totally numb is not a good situation to be in.
Mahomes picks up the first down at the 39.
Patrick Mahomes, the ball carrier for a red winner, first down.
And an injured Mountaineer on the field. That'll slow down West Virginia. And it's Jeremy Tyler, the senior from Lithonia, Georgia.
He had quite a bit of experience coming into this year. He played in right around 280 defensive snaps a year ago. So while they were replacing 9 starters from a defense that was one of the best in the Big 12, they had some players that had experience as they're stretching out that right leg of Jeremy Tyler. Has an interception on the year. He's played pretty well for them. You know, he was kind of a prototypical West Virginia recruit, not highly recruited, but he was Class 5A All-State, All-Region selection out of Georgia, as well as an All-Area and All-Region selection as a junior.
First down and 10 at the 40-yard line for Texas Tech. And Mahomes over the middle, incomplete, nobody near.
This is a team in West Virginia that last year held Patrick Mahomes to his lowest passing output of the season. It was under 200 yards, actually. The lowest he's had this year is 470 yards passing in a game, and Tony Gibson's defense, they've been doing a great job. They're holding him right now to just 300 yards. And remember, that's Texas Tech. It's not just your normal 300-yard passer. He's averaging well over 450, so he's been doing a nice job, this defense has.
Mahomes looking in trouble. Batson with the catch. But West Virginia defensively just all over the play. And you can just see the air has gone out of the building. The air has gone out of this West Virginia, this Texas Tech offense, rather. They just can't seem to get anything going.
Yeah, it's suffocating. There's so many yellow helmets around the ball every single play. Average yards to go on third down. Texas Tech over 9 yards. Just have had no success on first and second down. Hard to overcome.
3rd and 10, Mahomes scrambling. Mahomes in trouble. Mahomes loses the ball and falls on it. 5th sack of the day for West Virginia. Adam Schuler, Darian Howard combining.
Well, Mahomes, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. He loves to improvise, get outside of the pocket, sling the ball down the field. But when there's nowhere to go with it and only 3 guys rushing, that's very difficult to do. Got to give Darian Howard a lot of credit. 300 pounds, stayed right with him. Mahomes is a very athletic player, and Howard was right there, causing the ball to hit the turf.
22-yard loss. Michael Barton punting it from his own 25. Gary Jennings at the 25, and man, tough day for Coach Kingsbury and his team. West Virginia with the football deep in Texas Tech territory after this. (34-10), West Virginia, the 20th ranked team in the nation, on the road today. And they have really demonstrated that this has the potential, Joe, to be a terrific season in Morgantown.
And Justin Crawford, their best running back, hasn't even had a chance to be in all game. DeKeel Shorts, 3 catches, 100 yards. I mean, this is a better team than people want to give them credit for. I have no idea why the AP would rank them at 20th. 9 spots below the other Power 5 undefeated team that's closest to them, which is Baylor. There's a real lack of respect for this Mountaineer team.
1st down and 10. And this is Shell running the football. West Virginia on the season. They beat Missouri. They beat BYU in non-conference play along with Youngstown State, then Kansas State 2 weeks ago. Up next for them, TCU, and then at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, definitely a favorable schedule down the stretch, because that home turf in Morgantown, you talked about it, they get excited regardless. But as you look at what they've got coming up, TCU at home, they've got Oklahoma at home, Baylor at home on December 3rd. That road ahead presented by Coors Light.
2nd down and 7. Howard throwing sideline, caught out of bounds. Javon Durant. Durant's had a really solid game, the sophomore from Hollywood, Florida. Miramar High School.
You know, for as good as some of these skill position players have been, Gus, I think the group that's had the best day of all has been the offensive line.
Yes.
Skyler Howard has not even been under any duress during the course of this game when he's been throwing the ball. That's why he's been so effective. 21 of 31 for 318 yards. Those big guys up front, Pankey, Mateo, number 70, Orlowski, 56, Grant Lingefelter. They've been doing a great job. Just an excellent game. They have won the line of scrimmage constantly.
The handoff to Shell. He gets down the hill. Look at him go. Touchdown, Mountaineers. And that was all the offensive line there. Running over the left side. Pankey and Mateo. Orlowski, the center.
Lingefelter, the right guard, also pulled around, had a great block. Terrific run by Shell. You know, Shell also, this guy, he's got that dad strength. He's got twin 4-year-old daughters, a 1-year-old son. You know, that dad strength, Gus.
That's right. That's right.
Those of you that don't have children, you don't quite get it yet.
That's right. You got 2 boys. 41-10. Mountaineers running away with it.
Bit of an off week a week ago in a win against Indiana, but he's going to have so many showcase games, Gus, down the stretch. You just can't count him out as far as the Heisman Trophy is concerned.
So West Virginia sends it away. Line drive kick. Fielded at the 6-yard line by Reginald Davis. Davis with running room. Switches hands with the football. Davis still on the move at midfield and finally knocked out of play. A very nice return as Antonio Crawford finally knocks him out of bounds. Now let's check in with Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
Guys, the number 3 team in the nation in a daze because Matthew Days just found the end zone for NC State, 2 yards. Clemson, NC State tied at 17 in the fourth. Remember, Clemson has won 44 straight against unranked opponents. And the question for you guys, is Dad's strength better than old man's strength? Just want to know.
That's a great question, Mike.
It could be a combination. Dad could be an old man.
You've got a combination. Like us, you've got the combination.
Oh, I'm an old man.
That's
Thank
right.
you very much. Okay, partner. You starting to get comfortable now. I like that.
Oh, man.
All right, Nick Shimonek is in the game at quarterback for Texas Tech, replacing Mahomes. And Shimonek on first down, throwing. And it's incomplete, intended for Devin Lauderdale. Maurice Fleming covering. Shimonek, a transfer from Iowa prior to the 2015 season. He came in against Kansas when Mahomes was injured and threw for 271 yards and 4 touchdowns, both career highs. 2nd down and 10. Shimonek. That one high and almost intercepted as Kaiser White had his hands on the football. Why do you bring in Shimonek now for Mahomes?
I think this has to do with the shoulder injury to Mahomes. And Cliff Kingsbury, he understands, his team's body language. Let's face it, that defense kind of threw in the towel on the last play. That touchdown to Shell. So now, you don't want to get your brightest star hurt even further. He's already dealing with that shoulder. You might as well go out and let a guy like Nick Shimonek get some time on the field like he did against Kansas. And, but again, it's kind of like throwing in the towel.
That one thrown over the middle and caught by Giles. A 9-yard gain, but that will bring up 4th down and 1. Looks like Texas Tech is going for it. And they hand it off. 1st down. And even more. Justice Parker running the football.
Cliff Kingsbury, 2-12 versus top 25 teams as a head coach, 1-11 versus ranked teams in Big 12 play. Obviously trying to right that ship. They need a couple more years of recruiting, in particular on that offensive line and in their defense to do so.
Shimonek throws it out wide. QT.
Shimonek's pass complete to QT.
And a flag on the play. So I think one of the interesting stories, Joel, concerning West Virginia is how coming out of the Big East, Dana Holgorsen had a lot of success.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 73, 15-yard penalty. The down counts. 2nd down.
Here's Murphy piling on. No need for that. Seen too much of that out of Texas Tech today. Losing their cool, not playing very smart. There's Dana Holgorsen. And as you were saying, partner,
he changed his style. Had to make an adjustment. What did he do?
Well, he came into the Big 12 in 2011, 2012 after, remember, winning 10 games, winning an Orange Bowl, scoring 70 points in that Orange Bowl, I believe. And he thought he could do it with offense. And he had Geno Smith and Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey. He cut his teeth under Mike Leach. He had a great offense when he was the coordinator of Oklahoma State, remember, with Brandon Whedon and Justin Blackman. And so we thought, you know what, I can outscore people. I'm a good enough coach. I've got good enough players. I'm going to go and do that. And he started really hot, but then he lost to Texas Tech, and all of a sudden it started to falter. And he realized then he's got to change. They're going to look and see in replay if this was actually targeting by Murphy.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's absolutely, that anytime you're in that crouch, a launch, crown, and remember the crown, any part of the top of the helmet as it is defined by above the face masks, as we've got Mike Pereira on live from Los Angeles. Mike, that crown of the helmet certainly looked like it was used by Murphy on that block.
Well, and this is the new rule that they put in this year that allowed replay to get involved in this, even though there was no call that was made on the field. And remember, you're talking about leading with the crown of the helmet, period, which in itself is targeting. So looking at this and replay now being aware of this, I think this was the right thing to stop it. And certainly, you know, talks about not taking a player out for the rest of this game, but the first half of the next game too. So that's what they're looking at here.
For Murphy, it looks like this is more of a frustration hit based on how Texas Tech has played today. I'm sure these kids are just totally frustrated with their performance.
Yeah, it's deflating. There's no doubt. And as Mike mentioned, it would be in the first half of the next game, which Gus is Oklahoma, which is here next week.
After reviewing the play, it's been determined that number 73 led with the crown of his helmet. It was targeting. The penalty remains the same. However, number 73 has been disqualified.
And I think that was the absolute right call by the replay to get involved. And as Mike told us, they can now do that this year, get involved, call down. Justin Murphy will be ejected for targeting, and now he's going to miss the first half of that Oklahoma game, which is a big loss for them. He was injured last season after starting 4 times. Got injured in the Baylor game. He's a sophomore, 6'6", 310 pounds. Arguably their best offensive lineman. They'll be without him in the first half next week. But the correct call. There's no question by the letter of the law that he led with the crown.
First down. And make it second down and 22. Wow, tough hit there. Batson, the intended receiver, and Maurice Fleming levels him.
And on the heels of Justin Murphy getting called for targeting, that's what you're hearing right now. And certainly this is going to be close. No flag came out. And Maurice Fleming came up. Cameron Batson was absolutely in a defenseless position. There's Fleming.
That's another targeting penalty.
It's going to be close. It was more face than crown.
Previous play is under further review.
But he definitely has forcible contact in the head or neck area against a defenseless player. And by the letter of the law, we've seen during the course of this year that it doesn't matter that the strike zone changes or that the head dips from the offensive player. This is real speed. I certainly don't think the intent was there for targeting. However, that doesn't matter. They don't take that into consideration. And by the letter of the law, Gus, you're right. I would agree with you that this would be targeting. Now, I happen to disagree with the way that we're officiating it in college football. I believe that there should be categories of targeting. Just like in the NBA, there's flagrant ones, flagrant twos. I believe that we should have some sort of category for incidental targeting, which I believe this to be.
Yeah, but at the same time, Joel, concussions are a major issue with the sport of football right now. And, let me finish, I think that it's important for the players to make the adjustment because kids are getting hurt out there.
No doubt.
Pros are getting hurt out there.
I totally agree.
So I agree with the rules in that the adjustment has to be made.
After reviewing the play, it has been determined that number 24 led with the crown of his helmet against the defenseless player. It's targeting 15 yards. Number 24 is disqualified.
So this is what my suggestion would be, that if there were 2 categories of targeting, where there was a more incidental targeting foul and the more overt targeting foul, the more overt targeting foul would then carry an ejection. The foul would still stand for targeting, but in the incidental version, at least in my suggestion, the player would stay on the field.
And that can happen down the road. And it may happen down the road.
It may. We'll see. The effort's certainly there to try to protect the players and change
No doubt about it, and that's the most important thing. It's a very violent game, as we all know, as Ward runs the football. David Long with the tackle.
Stop David.
So now Maurice Fleming will be out for the first half of their matchup with TCU.
Shimonek Puts that one on the money and out of bounds. Lauderdale with the catch.
It's kind of a sneak peek into what could be ahead for the Red Raiders next year if Mahomes does, in fact, decide to take his talents to the National Football League, which he certainly has the talent to do so. Shimanek would be on deck and potentially the Red Raiders quarterback.
First down and 10 at the 16. Shimanek lofting it in the air and caught. Touchdown. Giles with the grab. Jonathan Giles makes it a 41-16 game. Shimanek looks confident. In for Mahomes.
Pretty pass. Great anticipation, and it's put in the absolute perfect spot. Throws it before the wide receiver has a step, and I mean, that is a beautiful ball. Look at the nose of the ball actually turns down and towards the wide receiver. That's textbook. Shimanek just throwing a dime in there for a touchdown.
So Hatfield in to attempt the extra point, and it's good. 41-17, 8:13 to play in the fourth quarter. Back to Lubbock right after this. To 17, West Virginia dominating Texas Tech on the road. Skyler Howard maybe coming back on the field with 8 minutes and 13 seconds remaining. Tough day for this kid. Texas Tech fans, West Virginia's got him upside down.
Yes, they do.
All right, let's check in with Mike Hill in Los Angeles for an update.
Guys, after you're done there, we'll take your FS1 audience out to Waco. That is Shock Linwood. He will be considered country strong. 237 yards last week against Iowa State, trying to help his boys stay undefeated this season against a Kansas team that's lost 13 straight against the Big 12. That's right after you guys wrap up there in Lubbock.
All right, Mike, thanks. Kansas doing a nice job last week. I know there are no moral victories, but they played TCU to the very end before falling to the Horned Frogs.
You just got to think that that's got to turn for them. They're 2-44 in their last 46 Big 12 games, but Baylor has given up 200 yards rushing in their last 3, so you just never know.
And this is McCoy taken down by Hendricks.
Like McCoy, his ability. You can tell he's got some burst to him when he gets the ball, and when you're running behind an offensive line that's winning, like West Virginia's has so far today, there's going to be some holes there. This whole sequence right now, this is when you love to have a veteran quarterback that understands the importance of ball security, and Howard certainly needs to understand that importance right now.
McCoy running left this time with all sorts of running room down the sideline. And McCoy out of bounds inside Texas Tech territory. Justice Nelson chops him down after a 35-yard gain. And McCoy may be hurt.
And came up grabbing at that left shoulder, and that's the shoulder that he went down hard on along the sideline. And I was explaining earlier, this is the hardest field surface conditions that I've seen in a long time. Yeah, we saw Patrick Mahomes earlier this year on this field get an AC joint sprain in his shoulder, and McCoy lands right on that shoulder and immediately grabs up for it towards that collarbone area.
4 carries, 99 yards for Kennedy.
Because they're going to have to change the turf here.
They're going to have to. I agree with you, partner.
And let's hope. I
know Cliff Kingsbury wants to play fast, but
I was shocked when I walked out. I mean, I'm in dress shoes, and I was shocked at how hard it was under my feet. We saw Crawford go down with an ankle when his ankle was piled up into a 25. That's Crawford, Justin Crawford, the junior college transfer, and now true freshman Kennedy McCoy. also dealing with an injury after going down. And Russell Shell, the starter, is going to have to be back in the game.
First down and 10 at the Texas Tech 32. And Shell running right. It'll get inside the 30.
I think West Virginia is going to be on people's radar now.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
I would certainly hope so. They have been severely disrespected so far this year. Again, 9 spots below the next Power 5 undefeated team. That's what Dana Holgorsen faces. And listen, he understood. They had a couple of bye weeks. He didn't think that they played great teams as of late, but they were able to get wins, and he was certainly interested to see how they were going to play here on the road, and they've answered him with a resounding quality fashion.
But, you know, they beat Missouri out of the SEC. BYU has been playing some very solid football, and they have a murderous schedule.
And they won again last night against Mississippi State.
So Dana Holgorsen has to be pleased with the way his team performed against his good friend and former roommate, Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff lived with Dana in Houston. They were pretty close for 2 years.
Dana actually got Cliff started in coaching. Said he didn't know if he wanted to coach, was kind of 50-50, still trying to play, might go to Canada. Dana told him to come down, be the quality control coach at Houston.
Shell. I think Kevin Sumlin had something to do with that too.
He absolutely did. But as a quality control coach, you only make about $400 a month. So Cliff was like, "What? I can't live. I don't got money for rent." And Danny was like, "Live with me." So they were roommates that year. But he's got a bright future in this game. Only 37 years old.
That's right.
And he's going to continue to learn and develop. Have many quality years ahead.
Here's the run by Shell. Shell picks up a first down. Now, for those of you looking for the Kansas-Baylor game, we will get you out to that matchup immediately at the conclusion of our game. Right now, coverage of Kansas-Baylor is on FS2 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Approaching the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter, West Virginia has now rushed for 318 yards.
Man. I talked about the importance of establishing the run game for them today. It was going to limit possessions, help their defense out. 57 rushes a year ago. Today, 42 and 618 yards in 2 years with 8 touchdowns on the ground against the Red Raiders.
And the handoff to Shell. And he'll hop forward to the 5. But offensively, the story of this game has been their quarterback, Skyler Howard. 21 of 31, 318 yards. He has a passing touchdown. He's also rushed the ball 12 times for 89 yards. 2 rushing touchdowns. No interceptions.
You know, for me, it's cart and horse, because I think about that. I'm like, yeah, he played great. And then I think to myself, his offensive line gave him all the time in the world. You know, that combination, in particular, Howard's ability to get the ball down the field because of the time he was allotted, was tremendous.
West Virginia keeping the ball on the ground, but you know how you quarterbacks, you need to take all the glory when you win, and you take all the opposite of that when you lose.
You know, and Howard is cut from this cloth as well. Great leaders deflect praise and accept criticism. I think Skyler Howard is a lot like that. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he was given a lot of love towards his offensive line at the end of this game. In particular, a guy like Tyler Orlowski.
Now, what's that quote again? Great leaders
deflect praise and accept criticism.
We're trying to get your leadership qualities up a little bit.
I knew that was coming. Call someone old one time.
That's right. That's not a good one, but it's a good one.
Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Oh, you did not like that one.
It's a good one, though.
I was trying to give you a double compliment.
Yeah.
You've got both types of strength.
That's called a backhanded compliment, my friend.
Yes. Oh, boy.
You give a bunch of compliments to that man, though, Dana Holgorsen. And it was really fun talking to him on the conference call this week.
I feel like he's coming into his own as a coach. You know, like you said, he's adjusted from the Big East to the Big 12.
45 years old, Shell spinning. And Shell fighting to get down to the 2. And as you mentioned, he's coming into his own as a coach. He's 45. You feel that eventually this is going to happen with Coach Kingsbury.
Sure.
He's 37 years old, still learning the job.
And they've gone through so many, coordinators and systems defensively under Cliff, and now they've got David Gibbs, and they feel confident about that. But Holgorsen, listen, they're on the best run. There's David Gibbs, defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, and he comes from Houston. He was the architect of what you're seeing for Houston right now, as West Virginia is going to call a timeout.
2:20 to go, fourth quarter. All Mountaineers. Welcome back, and for those of you looking for the Kansas-Baylor game, we will get you out to that matchup immediately at the conclusion of our game. Right now, coverage of Kansas-Baylor is on FS2 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
I'm interested to see what happens here because they've got the offense on the field. It's 4th and goal. Dana and Cliff Kingsbury are very good friends. Are they going to take a knee?
It looks like that. Victory formation. And they hand it off to Shell. No, Shell dives. Touchdown. So they went for it on 4th down and goal. And West Virginia adds the points, 47-17. It's not personal.
It's business. Did he get in all the way? Legs up, legs up. There's the knee down, and it does look like that ball crossed the goal line, or at least touched it. And Shell looks to have gotten in the end zone. What a dominant performance from West Virginia today, in particular on the ground. Well over 330 yards rushing, over 7 a carry.
5th rushing touchdown for the Mountaineers.
This is a statement win.
It's a statement win.
Everybody in the Big 12 is going to look up and say, West Virginia held Texas Tech to what?
17 points so far with 2:16 to play in the fourth quarter.
Texas Tech had scored 50 points in home games and
9 straight.
9 straight. A record.
Let's take a look at the road ahead for West Virginia, sponsored by Coors Light. Whatever your mountain, climb on. A big matchup in Morgantown next week, and you can be for sure that place is going to be rocking. That's one of the most fun venues to watch a college game, especially at night.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And now this confidence is growing. And you have to, here's how I always look at schedules, upcoming schedules. Which one of those teams scares you if you're West Virginia? None of them. That's none of these teams. Now maybe Oklahoma, but you got them at home, likely at night. At Oklahoma State, that could be a tough game. The way they played defense, the way that they ran the ball today, the way Skylar Howard played, Dana Holgorsen's got something special here with this West Virginia team. And you know what's dangerous? A team that believes in themselves.
That's right.
And I saw that today. I feel like that came to fruition right here on the plains of Texas.
Mountaineers send it away, and West Virginia playing defense. Reginald Davis running it. But look at that pursuit. Let's take a look back, folks, at how the Mountaineers were able to dominate this football game.
Pretty complete game from West Virginia, and Skylar Howard was terrific. He had all the time in the world. He had some great passes down the field, very accurate. The run game, which really got kicked off with Skylar Howard in the run game, now has been over 300 yards. And then the defense, 4 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. And they just took the number 2 scoring team in the country and held them to 17 points at home. Pretty remarkable.
650 yards in total offense, but here's the best stat for Dana Holgorsen: no turnovers. So Texas Tech running the football. This is Ward. Where do the Red Raiders go from here?
Well, there's a lot of things that I feel like you can clean up with some self-scout, and a little introspection here, looking in the mirror, if you will, because there was some really poor timed penalties, mental errors. That's what Cliff Kingsbury is going to be most frustrated with. It's one thing to get a very good team like West Virginia and have them come in and actually beat you, because this is a young team in Texas Tech. They're still developing on the defensive side. They're developing and trying to recruit along the offensive line. So it's one thing to lose, Gus, but the fashion in which they lost today losing their cool at times. They were discombobulated as far as substitutions and some timeouts. Those are things that have to get fixed, and they've got to get fixed quickly with Oklahoma coming into town. And I believe that in back-to-back weeks they will be seeing the two best teams in the Big 12. Today, West Virginia. Next week, Oklahoma.
The two best teams in the Big 12. So the Baylor Bears are not one of the top two for you.
Well, I saw them play against Oklahoma State. I've seen Oklahoma 3 times. Now I've seen West Virginia. And of those 3 teams, the 2 most impressive are Oklahoma and West Virginia.
DeLeon Ward running.
For a Red Raider first down.
48-17, the Mountaineers will remain undefeated, 5-0. Big road win, but even more importantly, a big confidence booster. Now, I would imagine that they definitely know that they've got something special going on this season.
I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them up in the 13, 14 echelon of Sunday's poll. Dana Holgorsen knows it.
And Ward running it once again. But I think the man that should be getting the game ball from a coaching perspective is this man.
Tony Gibson, defensive coordinator. Second straight year that he has done an outstanding job against Texas Tech.
5-0. West Virginia, first time since 2012. 48-17 the final. Right now, let's get you back to Los Angeles for more college football coverage.